Rocky. Rocky, you wanna go racing? You wanna go racing?
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keeton White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 24 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keeton White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. Now, I know we were supposed to have Kyle McBride on this podcast, but unfortunately, our schedules didn't coincide and conflicted, so he will not be on the podcast this week. He's off to RCGP, so hopefully we'll get to have him on after that. We will see. So this week, I actually did record a short podcast with Max about his recap of his trip to America, his positive and negative experiences. So I did load that up to Patreon on yesterday. So that will be part of the podcast today, as well as I talked to my good buddy, Aidan Burke. He's over there in Liverpool. He is a podcaster as well and an avid 10-scale racer. You can check out Aidan's podcast on Extra Lap on iTunes. It talks a lot about 10-scale and whatnot in the UK. So we got to chatting and we ended up talking and doing a podcast for about 30-40 minutes as well. So it's pretty interesting. Talks about racing in the UK and his experiences traveling to different races in America and Europe. Before I go on any further, I would like to say thank you to our sponsors, fastraceshop.com, or Fast Race. Don't forget, you could check them out for their awesome shot caps and honeycomb bladders. Also, thank you to Assault RC for coming on for the Invisible Speed segment. This week's segment is about clutches. And of course, JQ Racing for the Rant. This week's rant is about working together to better the industry. Now, I know you guys think I'm going to tell you who the new segment sponsor is in this intro, but it's not going to happen. We actually did the Grassroots Racer Spotlight segment. It's with my good buddy Lucas Lauren. He works at Beach RC and is the epitome of the ultimate club racer, or grassroots racer, I would say. So you will have to go listen to that and then find out who the sponsor is. Nobody guessed it. I had a few people hit me up in messages and also on the Facebook page, but nobody guessed who the sponsor is. And I think it's going to shock the RC world. Thank you to all the No Name RC squad from around the world. We cannot do it without you guys. Thank you for those that go the extra mile and become patrons on Patreon. We appreciate your support. I appreciate the support I get from people around the world who send me messages saying they enjoy the podcast. We cannot do it without you guys. So keep it up. Keep listening, keep liking, keep sharing, and let's grow this podcast even more. Thank you to Brent Densford, Beach RC, JQRacing.com, JQRacingUSA.com for all his support. He's another one that makes life a lot easier for me as well. Jerome Chambon, Donuts RC, JQ Racing Europe, and of course, Model Tune UK, our dealer distributor in the UK. Shout out to all my JQ family. I know you guys, it was guys racing everywhere this week. We had Jay Snyder and the Northwest team up in the Pacific Northwest. They were doing the Northwest Championship Tour. It's a great tour. It was an awesome race. I believe Brian Phillips is the owner of the track. It's a nice looking track. It was a great weekend for the boys up there. They had fun. They did it as a team. Congratulations to all the guys that participated. Congratulations to Austin and Tim. They both made their A mains as well as Jay. And shout out to all the guys that participated. Ryan Gibson, Kobe Harris, the Cotton Candy Cowboys, Dylan and Troy, Mark Atkins and his son, Tim Heathcox, Gary Crowell. They made the trip from Idaho. Marty Mann, who's recovering from a bad accident. This was his first race back. He had a good time. Austin Azur. If I forget anybody, I do apologize. So I'm sorry. In Australia, Tim Wainwright and Replay Hobbies, they had their first outing with the new JQ cars at the Australian Nats there, or I'm not sure if it's a national, so they had a good time. Luca Hornus made the A main in Taiwan at the Nationals there, and he had technical difficulties and was not able to finish, but Luca's 10 years old. He's excited. He's headed to RCGP tomorrow or Wednesday. Congrats to Leo Hara, they call him. I don't know his real name, but he came second in that race. Shout out to Jason Bukal. He finished 4th overall in the Georgia State Series, I believe it was. Mike Anderson went down to SMB and had a good time down there. Scott Leo, Steve Hine, Nick Costa, and Salty Tom, they all went to WORC and raced this weekend, man. Lots of racing going on. Racing is going on, and people are having fun. The snow is melting, the temperature is getting warmer, and racing is happening. We had FEMCA this weekend, the Asia Championships, I believe it's called. It was in South Korea. Shin Adachi won. Atushihara was there, first time on the Agama. Yuchi Kanai, a lot of fast Asian drivers. The track was big. It looked. I haven't really seen much racing for it, but I probably will watch the mains while I fly tonight. But yeah, lots of racing going on. Congratulations to Shin Adachi and the FEMCA race. Remember, RC is truly worldwide. I would like to send out some get well notes to a few people. First off, to Tim Thomas. He works at IndyRC. I haven't heard from him for a while. He's an avid listener of the podcast, good friend of mine. He was in the hospital getting an operation. I hope him and wish him to get better fast, and then he could get back to working. Tim's a great guy. Down there working with the IndyRC crew down there in Dallas. I think they're in Dallas, yes. Alex Morelli's shop there. IndyRC, good people, great track, good bunch of people there. Also, shout out to the Parrish family. Trevor and Tyler have been sick. They've been in the hospital. If you don't know who Trevor and Tyler are, they are two brothers. They're wheelchair bound. They were prominent on the East Coast races last year that I went to. I met them at PMB. I met them at AMS. Their father is Mark. Their mom, very nice people. They work very hard to get their sons to race. Trevor and Tyler have both had some stints in the hospital. I believe Trevor's in there now. So positive vibes sent out to those guys. Get well soon, guys. Hope to see you guys racing again. And yeah, you know, the Parrish family, very nice people. Their dad and their mom, they work extremely hard for their sons. And I just want to see them get well and get racing again. Shout out to my boy Wesley Lawrence. He had the first round of his awesome track at Next Level. This is probably one of the most 3D tracks I've seen. It's actually in 3 levels. My buddy Tony Scarcella made the trip down there, and Kevin Thompsonick and Alex Vaughn, they all went down there and raced this weekend, had a good weekend. I'm not sure who won, who came first and whatnot, so not too sure. Well, as you know, we have 2 big races this weekend. First, we have 2 years of hard work coming to a point here with the RCGP Manila round. We actually recorded a podcast, myself and Joseph, in the starting grid, a race preview. So you guys can check that out. That dropped this morning. Things are in full effect. All the drivers are flying to Philippines. David Runafel, Co Ogden have been there since last week. Max flew over there. Yeah, it's awesome. Unfortunately, I won't be there. But I will be at the second big race, which is Silver State. So before I get into Silver State, good luck to RCGP. You guys can follow that on their website, rc-gp.com, or their YouTube channel, RCGP, or their Facebook page. Lots of hard work going into this. I think it's going to be something that you guys haven't seen before. And then the post show will be up in about a week, I guess, on Extreme TV. So good stuff, good things happening. RC history in the making, their first ever World Series. Silver State. Now I get to go to Silver State. It was kind of a short notice thing. I'm actually flying out at 2:50 a.m. I'm recording this podcast, putting it all together this morning. Gotta get my bags packed, and I'll meet up with all the boys there at Degani, JB, Mike Hill, the New Mexico guys, Paul Samarriba, Vegas guys, Jeff Pfeiffer and the Texas guys. And I'm looking forward to this. This is my second Silver State race. I went to one back in 2005 with Paul Coleman. And the Offner guys, we was there. It was at Boulder the first time, I believe. The first time they had it at Boulder, it was a gnarly track. Big back straight that was sandy like the desert, changed every lap. Unfortunately, I got sick after the first day and was stuck in the house for the entire time. So I didn't get to see much racing or race myself. But that was good times. That was back in the good old jamming days. Got to hang out with Paul. He took us around to, me and my buddy Keeton, we flew out to meet him in California. We got to race at Old Hemet. We got to race at, not race, but practice at Old Hemet. Then we raced at ARC, which doesn't exist anymore. Great times. That was a good time in 8-scale buggy race in 2005. And it was fun. I had fun. So I'm looking forward to this trip. I see that Joey and those guys have 2 days to build the track. That's pretty amazing. Bobby's there. Bobby Moore's over there from Trackmasters. He's building the practice track, I believe, and going to help them guys out. So they have a lot of work cut out. 2 days. People will probably start getting there today. I'll be there tomorrow morning at 11:30. Hopefully somebody will be at the airport to pick me up. If you guys see me, say what's up. Tell me how much you like the podcast. Come chat with me. Let's have a beer together. It's all about meeting people and talking about RC. We're going to enjoy this race. I'll be watching RCGP as well and the Silver State. Try and get some interviews done. It depends on the noise factor inside the building. But basically, I'm going to have fun and help the guys out in the pits. And yeah, just enjoy it, man. Just really enjoy it. It's going to be some good racing. Looking forward to the great 40-plus showdown between Degani, Saxton, Paul Ciccarello, Barry Baker, and a few other guys. Degani's 2-0 right now. Can he make it 3-0? I know everybody's like, that's just 40-plus. But these guys have been battling against each other when they were younger. They're still battling against each other now. I think it's going to make for a great race. And, of course, we have the mains, with the pro guys. And that's going to be good to watch as well. So, enough of me rambling on. Let's get into the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment.
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
So you guys reached the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This is the segment dedicated to your questions about setup. If you have any questions concerning setup of your 8-scale buggies or even 10-scale buggies that you want Joseph to talk about, go to our Facebook page, the No Name RC Podcast Facebook page, and look for our Assault RC post, and you can post them under there. So this week's question comes from my good buddy Will Smith up there in North Cal, up there racing with the Empire guys and whatnot. What's up, Big Rick and all you guys? He wants to talk about clutches. He says, Joseph, go into explaining when and why to adjust the clutch, proper shimming of the clutch, difference between shoes like carbon, soft aluminum, hard aluminum, springs, 4-shoe versus 3-shoe, and then he wants to know about Buku style, the benefits and disadvantages. I guess he's talking about the Buku style clutch, the benefits and disadvantages of that. So let's start with adjusting clutches and proper shimming of gears.
Shimming of gears?
I don't know.
That's not really a clutch thing. Okay, let's just cover the clutch thing first and then repeat if there's anything I missed. So the clutch is very important in nitro because it's not just the engine that determines the feel and the power band, and it's also the clutch. So it's really important because depending on at what RPM the clutch grabs more, it will depend on how much power you have and the feeling the driver has when driving around the track. So it's in electric, you change the settings on the speed control. In nitro, you can tune the engine or adjust the clutch. And I think in general, 3-shoe clutches seem to be a bit easier to get to work right than 4-shoe clutches, because I've never really had a 3-shoe clutch that's bad. Like you can always, maybe the window that they work is bigger, but 4-shoe clutches, I feel, are a bit more finicky. So they can be maybe a bit too aggressive. Often 4-shoe clutches I've found grab more and make the power seem more or feel more aggressive. I remember when the low-C 4-shoe clutch came out, that was a really good one and super smooth. And I think they used to run 2 aluminum and 2 carbon shoes at the time and different combinations of springs. And that was a really great 4-shoe clutch. And a lot of people also like the sort of the JVD. I think JVD was the original name of that 4-shoe clutch. And now, you know, Reds and a lot of companies have this like similar idea of a 4-shoe clutch. I think JVD was the original. I think it's a Dutch company. Anyway, those clutches, I always felt that they are more aggressive than what I like. And then as they wear out, they change a lot. So I never really started running them. So I'm not an expert now on the 4-shoe clutches because I haven't run them for so many years. So I'm not the right guy to answer the question about 4-shoe clutches. What I've been running are the 3-shoe clutches and mainly just the stock JQ clutch. So we run 3 aluminum shoes and the aluminum is quite soft. So it does wear out quickly compared to some 4-shoe clutches that last a very long time. But it wears out quicker than them because it gives a very smooth feel. And the controllability of the engine and the feeling for me is very good. So it's almost like a slipper clutch in a way. Like it doesn't grab aggressively. So the initial power is smooth, but you have enough power, so it's not slipping either. So it's just a good combination. It's smooth, yet it grips enough to have drive. We run 2 1.1 springs and 1 1.0 springs, but I think that's because the springs that we have are softer than the equivalent of, let's say, a Kyosho 1.0. Maybe ours is a 1.1, would be the same, something like that. So many other brands you would run maybe 2 1.0s and 1 0.95 or something like that. The reason for running 2 stiffer springs and 1 softer spring is because it also changes how the clutch engages. So I think what happens is that the 1 shoe beginning to touch the clutch bell initiates the drive. Like it grabs the clutch bell, but not so much yet. So you start to have drive, but not full drive. And then the 2 other shoes engage slightly later. So it just increases the smoothness of the clutch. If all the springs are the same, then in theory, at least, all the shoes will touch the clutch bell at the same time. So the transition won't be as smooth. Then carbon shoes compared to aluminum, carbon shoes tend to be smoother than the aluminum ones. But the stock JQ clutch is already so smooth that I don't feel the need to do this. I have tried it sometimes though. So this is a blog post I made about invisible speed where I put a carbon shoe on the JQ clutch and I went faster, but I didn't actually notice a significant difference in the feel. Like it felt pretty much the same, but I was faster. And I did this on a slippery track. And what it did was it just reduced wheel spin. I had more forward bite, which I didn't really notice that much, but that's what happened. Just the fact like how the clutch engaged smoother, and I felt like I was driving the same, but just because the power was applied smoother, I had less wheel spin and I had more forward bite. So I think the carbon shoes are something you can tune with to, especially on slippery tracks, to have more traction. And what else about clutches? I think you should always put on a new clutch for a race. And typically the clutch will last the whole race. But if it's a big one, if you have a lot of practice, a lot of qualifying, then put a new clutch on also for the mains. And if you can do it, the best way to do it is, for example, put a new clutch on before semi-final practice, or if it goes straight into the main, maybe before the last qualifier. So you have one qualifier on it, you know everything works, and then you're good for the main. So that's about it.
What about Buku style clutches? Have you ever tried any of those? They have like adjustable.
I have, but I'm not a huge fan of those adjustable clutches either, because I feel that it's just one more thing to go wrong. Because sometimes you do have failures with those styles of clutches, or adjustment is a bit wrong. And I like to keep it simple, where it's a simple device with nothing can come unscrewed or fall off, and also it's always going to be the same. Mm-hmm. So the adjustable clutches kind of scare me for that reason. So maybe you adjust it a bit differently, or maybe the adjustment changes during your run. And I've had those kind of things happen before when I've tried adjustable clutches, and yeah, I've just kind of forgot about them because of that.
I have a question that probably coincides with this. What about weighted, lightened flywheels? Weighted or lightened flywheels?
Yeah, that's something I haven't actually tried. Maybe now when running OS, I should try it, because the weighted flywheel, it idles better because it's heavier. So apparently it idles a bit better. But the reason people use it is because it smooths out the bottom end. Mm-hmm. So it smooths out the power band. And I would be curious to try that. Before, when running Reds, I always wanted more power, so I didn't really want to smooth it out more. I wanted more power, so I didn't run it. But OS has a lot of power, so it might make sense to try it.
Yeah. Good
and
stuff.
I didn't really explain the opposite of the clutch. So sometimes, especially I think less experienced drivers, when I try their cars, maybe they reuse springs, or their clutches are old, or they are using some kind of random clutch shoes. And what happens is the engine sort of bogs down. So it doesn't really rev up. It doesn't sound like, most cars on the track sound. It's kind of bogging when you accelerate. And that's because the clutch is engaging too soon. So what needs to happen on the engines we run is that the revs need to go up a bit first, and then the clutch engages. That's how you get power. That's how the engine works. If the clutch engages too soon, then the RPMs are still very low, and the engine doesn't have enough power to accelerate the car. So that's kind of a common problem I find on less experienced drivers' cars, is that the clutch is engaging too soon. So the same thing can happen if, let's say, you're at a mud race, or you're just on a very high grip track, and that it has a lot of jumps straight directly after corners. So there's no real room to accelerate. You just have to go really quickly and accelerate up a jump. Then the same sort of thing can happen where you feel like you don't have enough power. And in those situations, you can just put thicker clutch springs on, because what that will do is it will engage the clutch later, which means that the RPM have time to go higher. And then as the shoes engage, the engine will have more power. So that's something you can do on very high grip tracks with a lot of jumps where you feel like you lack power, for example, or if you're in a mud race and the track is, heavy, and the cars are heavy, and you need the engine to have maximum power to navigate the track, then thicker springs will help.
I think another thing people overlook is flywheel diameter as well. Flywheel diameter. Clutch bell inner diameter. I mean, you can have some clutches.
Yeah, I think it's not standard. Some clutch belts are different. So if you are always running the same clutch and same clutch bell, and you're at a race, and you need a clutch bell and you can't get the same, you should make sure that the inner diameter is the same, so you have the same feel for the clutch.
Yeah, because that can cause your car to bog and whatnot as well, or it's a lot of little things like that.
If it's a smaller diameter, then maybe it will bog, or maybe if it's bigger, then maybe the clutch will start slipping. So
yeah, it's definitely an overlooked part of a nitro car. A lot of people just slap things on and let it go, and then they wonder why their car doesn't run right or doesn't tune right. And it's a lot of times it's just the clutch, man. You got to have the right clutch.
Also, the clutch actually affects runtime too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're really going for maximum runtime and you're tuning your engine and pipe and everything, and you're driving, then the clutch is also one thing that affects runtime.
Yeah. It all adds up. All the little things add up to make the whole package. You always say that,
Yeah. So
good stuff. Thank you for that explanation. I think it was a very good one. I hope that answers anybody's questions about clutches that, he knows about. And thank you, Will, for the submission of the question. And remember, guys, if you have any questions, please submit it on our Facebook page. If you want to check out anything that Assault RC has, go to their site at assaultrc.com. Type in Lefty19 and you will get 10% off your order. I keep saying this every time. Please check out their awesome tool holder. You will not regret it. It's a great piece of kit, and it looks good on your bench. Thank you, Joseph, and on to the next segment.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Mayfield, and you are listening to the No Name RC podcast.
So what's going on, everybody? It's your main man, Lefty, and I got my little buddy from over in Finland, who I spent a little bit of time with while he was in the UK, Maximus Mortimus. What's up, Max? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Just landed today, being just chilling, getting used to being back at home.
Yeah, it's been about a year since I've seen you. Well, more than a year, and you've grown tall. You've lost a lot of weight. Your voice has dropped. You got a little bit of bass in your voice now, and you got this long hair. I don't agree with. We need to get your hair cut, but it was good to see you. You landed a day before I did, before PMB, and got to hang out with Mike Hill and Heather Hill and Rocky and everybody else there. But, if people don't know, Max was in America for what, 3 weeks?
3.5 weeks, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Straight out of high school, graduated high school, and on the plane the next day. The point was to go over there. We raced PMB, and he was to get some practice before RCGP. So let's... I flew in on the day, I think it was a Tuesday, so we had a time, we chilled out, we went down to Beach RC, and then we drove you and I drove in a van to PMB, and then, let's talk about that, man. Tell us about your arrival in the East Coast of America, because you've only been to the West Coast, So this is completely different.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So pretty much what happened when I arrived, obviously, Mike picked me up, and we went to his apartment, had a good night's sleep, woke up in the morning, started, putting everything together, opened my OGO bag, and find, both my Plano boxes just trashed, both broken, all the hinges broken, all the screws I had, all over my bag, all over, everywhere. So, I'm okay, whatever, just clean it up, went to Walmart, bought some new boxes, and fix that. The plan originally was to get some practice. Well, that didn't happen because of it actually snowed the first day I went there, so kind of brought the bad weather from Finland with me. So that meant I would have to go to PNB with no practice in the last 6 months. And I had to break in an engine on Thursday, and all that.
Yeah, you was freaking out about that. I remember. It's I need to get on the track and break in the engine. I'm Max, you can break it in outside in the parking lot, And we didn't. Yeah, you didn't go anywhere because it snowed. We went on to beach. We picked up parts and some kits, and you got to meet Brent and Lucas and all them guys. We came home. You started that damn trailer park game. Yeah, just for you guys to know, this kid was enamored. like with trailer parks. Every time he saw a trailer along the road, like he's like, "That's a trailer park. It's a trailer park." It's like 2 trailers. Like we gotta really take you to a trailer park.
No, but like you can. I mean, I couldn't go like 2 minutes from the way to Myrtle Beach to Charlotte. I couldn't go 2 minutes without seeing a trailer. So obviously it's gonna be end up in a game. So yeah.
Yeah, he just like people count different cars. We started counting like trailer parks. I don't know how this guy got me doing that, but I don't know. Then I was like, no, that's a double wide. That's not a trailer. That's a portable house, not a trailer. And then we just argued about that for 3 hours. So good fun. We drove up there, and then you and I hopped in the van, and that's pretty a beautiful drive from Charlotte to White Pine, Tennessee, through the Smoky Mountains. It's a beautiful drive through the mountains. Right. Max is probably worried because everybody says I can't drive, but I think they're all full of crap because we got there in one piece without any problems. Yeah. So
yeah.
This is your first indoor race. Well, first nitro indoor race? No, because
I went to Neo. Yeah, I went to Neo.
But of this size, like in an actual stadium.
Yeah, and it's way more foggy than Neo. It's like hot, so like the nitro stays inside. There's no fans, no nothing. Like it's so dusty inside, you can't really see anything in there. So yeah, it's way different. It's a different type of indoor.
I think the temperature was a little higher this year than last year. Last year was cooler, and I don't know, just the humidity was down, so the nitro didn't really stay inside as much. They did have.
So
fans.
It was worse last year?
No, it was better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad this year, I don't think.
I don't think the nitro was too bad. It was just like you can't really see the far. Like, comparing it to outdoor racing, it's hard to see on the back straight.
Mm-hmm. It's a big track. It was a bit. Actually, the track was bigger this year than it was last year too. So that might have made a difference. But we went to this race. This is your first. I mean, you went to DNC that had 700 entries. I think this had about that many. But your first race with 24-hour practice. You guys kind of freaked out on that, you and Mike, and I think. Tell us about your practice schedule. Like
So the plan really was really go out there in the morning. Like they don't do timed heats in the morning. So because I still had the brake in my engine, our plan was to go there at 6 a.m. and I just ran a fuel bottle straight away, and that's like the first time getting on track in 6 months. So I just want to get some laps down, want to get the engine to tune. Engine worked fine. Then I did a fuel bottle right there. Then and then I tried different stuff. So I ended up probably burning like 2 or 3 fuel bottles in that practice session, but still way less than I could have done if I had a practice day or something before.
Yeah. And then you spent a whole bunch of time building a truggy that you drove for less than 5 minutes.
Well, the whole issue with that was that I actually forgot to put the air filter on with a zip tie. So I cased a double, and my air filter flew off, and some guy marshalling just was like, okay, I found your air filter, and at the same time my car flamed out, couldn't destroy.
Yeah.
Which is funny, actually. That engine, I cleaned it. I just took it apart and cleaned my dirty rag, put it back in. That was probably the best of those kind of engines I've ever had.
Yeah, it broke in the hard way. That was
that was an old. Well, it was a new engine, but that was a different brand that I'm running now, which is OS. So that was
Right. So it was so funny because I was like, he spent all this time building this truggy, balancing tires, doing all this stuff, and then I looked at him. He was like a few hours later. You was in I was like, what are you doing? You was where you sign up, like registration is like, I'm not running truggy. I'm getting my money back. I was like, but you only drove it for 5 minutes. I'm not running truggy. So you didn't run truggy. You got your e-buggy ready. This is your first time that you was driving the new e-buggy that just we're releasing here soon. So you had no practice of that either. You had to end up. I think you borrowed Mike Hill's radio. ES.
Well, okay. So what happened is I was like, okay. Screw druggy, I'm not going to drive that. I'm just going to get my e-buggy ready, so when we come to the track 4 a.m. on Saturday to get some practice, I can practice on that, see that it works. So, okay, 4 a.m. Saturday morning, I go out with my e-buggy. I'm like, okay, I go running. Okay, car feels good. Like best I've ever felt with my e-buggy. Electric feel good. Oh yeah. Then once I hit like 4 minutes, my car just I get a runaway. E-buggy runaway.
Yeah, I've never even seen that happen.
I don't think that could even happen. Well, it happened. E-buggy runaway, car straight into the wall. I'm like, okay, what's this? So we figured out, okay, probably might be the ESC because he was freaking out in the pits too after that. Okay, so luckily I got a spare ESC. These were Joseph's stuff. These were mine stuff. So it was Joseph's. He sent me from China. So yeah, okay. So Joseph Electric he ran before. Okay, I switched new ESC. Went out to track. Same exact thing. 4 minute mark. Runaway. Then I was like, okay, screw this. I took because on Friday I wanted to run so much. I ended up running so much that I actually ran with my practice car the whole day. And my plan was to run my practice car for the whole Friday and then take my race car and race it on Saturday morning, which I did, which turned out to be fine, and that worked out. So then, after all that, it was like 6 a.m. the practice ended, and then we were like, okay, so I have options to not run e-buggy, or then Mike would not run e-buggy, give me his electronics. So we ended up just changing everything from the e-buggy, like servos, transmitters, transponder even, and then putting Mike's ESC and motor in and my new servo receiver and transponder. So yeah, then I think everything worked out. Then we'd have no problems with it. But Michael's motor was kind of on the low side, so yeah. I probably went faster on the straight with my nitro than e-buggy, right? Which shouldn't really happen.
No, it shouldn't. So how did you feel about qualifying and all that stuff? I mean, in nitro you did pretty good. You qualified directly into the main. E-buggy, but something happened in nitro. I can't remember what happened to you. Something happened in one of your qualifiers.
Well, the first one in both classes, I kind of just wanted to drive. I just kind of just wanted to get a feel for the track, because this is like my first timed heat in 6 months. You gotta remember that too. So I haven't actually driven an off-road like timed heats, because it's kind of different driving around short course tracks than actually driving around top drivers. So
yes.
So first round, both classes, I wanted to get like a solid heat. So I got 11th in both classes first round. Second round, in e-buggy I tried to push, I crashed. I would have probably ended up like top 10. I ended up like 15th or something. No, 20 something. I don't know. But I got not a good run. I crashed like 3 or 4 times. But then nitro, I had a good run. I think I was like up to 4th, 5th in the top heat. And then I caught up to, I think, Adam Drake, or I don't know, maybe I think it was Drake. I actually passed him on the track. He tried to take me out, so I had to watch out. Then luckily he took out himself, so yeah, I was good about that. Then I got passed, but I lost like a lot of time, so I ended up, I think, 9th for the round.
Yeah.
I think I was 9th. Yeah, 9th for the round. Yeah, I'd probably been 4th or 5th that round.
Yeah.
And then. Well, then I went to sleep, actually. I got my car ready for Q3, went to sleep because I already woke up like 4 a.m. At this point, it was like 4 p.m. Went to sleep, got a shower, went back to the track. Kind of had bad runs in both classes. Finished like 15th or something in both classes. E-buggy, yeah, I had more speed in nitro. So even with all mistakes, I made the A straight away. In e-buggy, I think I was in a B, yeah. And then, yeah. That's for qualifying.
Yeah, and just for people to know, like, Max made an A-man. Yes, there weren't no, like, I think it was just Drake, Bornhorst, Tebow, Lutz were the top pros there. But there were some fast East Coast guys and just people from the South, like, really, like, young guys that are fast that race a lot. I mean, Tyler Jones, obviously, he won this race, and we talked to him on the podcast previous to this. But these are fast guys who race a lot. And you're coming off a 6 month, like, in school, studying. You haven't raced since last summer. And, you know, you haven't even, I think the last big race you went to was the Euros, where you did pretty good, but you had engine issues as well. So, I mean, I think you did well. I mean, obviously I wanted you to make the e-buggy main and the nitro buggy main. But it is what it is. What did you think about the actual track itself? Like, what did what do you think about the track, the ambience of the track? Like, Dave puts on the show with the monsters, the podiums, and I think I like what Dave does with his tracks. It looks really nice. He's got all the banners set up nice. He's got the flags flying. He does well with there, and the track was good too. The track was big, man, really big.
Yeah, I'd say. Okay, I'd put it like this: the track, like talking just purely about the track layout and like grip and all that. The track itself, running around for qualifying, that was perfect. I think like there's maybe 1 or 2 spots that I could have changed, but otherwise the track was really good. Bobby did a good job. But then come mains, I don't think they thought out the fact that they gonna put a hard double on the first corner, then the most random section of the track being the bumps, then a bunch of 180s after high-speed corners, and then the wall. And then you put all the stuff you can make some differences on. So it was kind of like every main was like a huge clusterfuck in my opinion. Like every main I watched, pretty much like half the field got taken out at some point in the like first 1 or 2 laps. So that really wasn't thought out too well. And then the Joker lane, it doesn't work out in the mains when it's that way. It should be the other way when it's slower, in my opinion. Because when it's that way, everyone in e-buggy mains, everyone's obviously going to take it in the start. And it's kind of like becomes pointless if everyone's going to run it. And in my opinion, doing it that way, like after the straight, is also kind of dangerous. For marshals, for other drivers, I saw a lot of people break there.
Yeah.
Like not top heats obviously, but some sportsman guys. So I was fan of the idea, but I wasn't fan of how they did it.
Okay. I mean, it worked out in the end, but I agree. I kind of thought they should do it the opposite way, but it kind of worked out. I mean, it did help some guys who just kind of went and did the Joker lane 3 times right away. And it is, or if they did it when they came off their pit out lane, but it is what it is. I think it was a great event. We had a great presence there. I mean, I don't know how many people came up and asked you questions because you was like the #1 guy there. And so I'm sure you had to answer a lot of questions and talk about things. And I know it was busy, a lot of pressure on you, but you handled it well. And, it's good. Like, it's your 3rd race in America, 2nd race on an American style track. I'm sure you'll be back over and racing some more. I mean, we have DNC next year and other races. So good stuff. It was a good event for us. It was a good event for you. I mean, you could have done better, but that's how racing goes. So, you know. After that, we get back home. I leave to come home, and then you and Mike, it's just like practice time for you guys. So tell us about that. Like you started going to, but the next weekend you went down to Badlands for Spring Sting.
So after PNB on Wednesday, we went down to WCRC, which is actually Bobby Moore's track. I really enjoyed that track. More of a old school style, really loose dirt with Bobby does good layouts. I really enjoyed all his layouts he's done. In the East Coast, like what I see. So those were good, and I got some practice there. Probably drove a gallon that day, and then went to Badlands. It was super hard for me to really get into the groove, like starting the day out with qualifiers, and especially after it rained in Badlands, I got screwed for the first one, and then the second one, like I pretty much had no good driving on the track at all, like in that on Saturday. So pretty much for me it was like the first proper heat of the day. And so a lot of guys, I think a few guys were driving e-buggy too or something else, so they had a little bit more of the go off. So I was kind of struggling with the whole just going out there and doing that, because I'm used to, you don't practice on Friday at all. You go on there Saturday morning, you get 2 rounds of practice, you're good to go. You run 3 rounds of qualifier, and then you run the mains. Yeah. But here, so like Friday, you can do whatever you want, run with short course trucks, whatever. And then on Saturday, it's no schedule, no nothing, kind of a craziness going on, insanity. Yeah. And then you kind of try to count out when it's a main. And yeah, it's for me, like, it kind of makes an extra challenge for me. I think like Joseph put it good. If you don't have everything together, it's gonna suck. If you have everything together, it's gonna be way better than anything else. I'd say.
Yeah, and the Badlands track, it's very high grip. It's a very like that one part of it. It's still the same layout from Fallbro. I feel bad for the Badlands guys because they get hit with rain every time not every time, but their last 2 big races, which was Fallbro and now Spring Sting, they get hit with rain, man, and it's just been the story of the East Coast racing lately, especially in the Carolinas and whatnot. Is rain's been Mother Nature. So, I mean, we can't control that either. With that said, what did you think of the actual Badlands track?
I really like the layout. I'm not too fan of the high grip stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one way to do it. I don't know. I'm really not that much of a fan of it. It's just I don't know, not my thing.
Of high grip,
I can see people liking it though. I mean, I can see why people enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like tracks. I like smooth tracks, but I don't really like that high grip feel when you burn your clutch out every time you pull the throttle.
Yeah, and that track's really high grip, really high grip.
Yeah.
But I mean, they do a great job. It's a great facility. Was it like some sort of tournament going on as well, like a football tournament or something as well?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people in the football field. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too. It exposes the hobby to people, so. All good, and I wish that they could get a race in that didn't get rain on it, and
yeah, and maybe a roof on the driver's stand too.
Yeah, but that's expensive. Oh, okay. Oh, a roof on the driver's stand. Oh, did you? Yeah, you get the sun was getting to you, buddy.
No, not the sun, but the rain. I kind of like every time I went out there, for the first round, it was raining, and then they finally was said, okay, let's wait out a second so we can see if the rain actually stops now. Yeah. And then it didn't stop for 2 hours or so, and then we got the rain on a super muddy track, run on a super muddy track. Yeah.
Right. So that was kind of not a good race for you either. You made the A main, but I think you finished 10th or 9th. I can't remember.
I actually broke my wing off.
Okay, there
I would have probably been top 5 or something.
Yeah.
Because I had issues in the start or something. I don't know. I can't really remember what happened, but I got way back in the start, and then I started to catch up. Yeah. My best lap times weren't that bad, but it's what it is.
It's racing. It's like I said, it's racing. So then we go to you guys. I was listening. I was like, these guys are not taking a day off. You might have took Monday off, but I think you was back at the track.
Every day we took off, if you could say that. I was rebuilding my car, so I think I took 1 or 2 days off the whole trip.
Yeah,
other days I was wrenching or something. Yeah.
So this was I think people don't understand. This was a pure RC trip. Everything was RC related. You must be now you must be I don't really want to touch a car for a while, but. As we're doing this podcast, you're actually packing to go to RCGP. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But so you guys went to practice some more. You went to Easley. You went to S&B. You ended up being at S&B quite a few times. I think you went back to WCRC. You tried to race at WCRC, but it rained there as well, sadly. Yeah.
Kind of a bad luck in that.
I know, it's so crazy, man.
It's so crazy. It rained every single weekend. Luckily, PNB had a roof on top of it, but it rained every weekend or so.
Okay, so let's do this. Out of all those tracks that you went to, which was your favorite?
I'd say S&B. I think WCRC was good, but in my opinion, the facility is not that nice. Track's a bit small to my liking. I think S&B it's definitely a great facility. They're really helpful with all the stuff we need to track, water, electricity. The gates were closed when we went there. We asked the guy to open them, and he was like, "Okay, that's the code, whatever." And he was really helpful and nice guy. So S&B definitely, and WCRC. Those are my 2 favorites. And,
All right. So do you feel like you got what you accomplished out of these 3 weeks? Lots of practice, lots of wrenching. Do you feel I feel like I'm confident going into the race season this year?
Oh yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I would have hoped I got one good race under the belt before RCGP, but it is what it is. You can't make up the weather the way you want it. It's Mother Nature's job. So yeah.
So you've only been to the West Coast, California, Arizona. You went to Vegas back for the 2016 Worlds. So now you spent on the East Coast, North Carolina, South Carolina. What was the biggest difference?
I think East Coast is the true America.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you actually think of it, driving from California is unique. I'd say California is way different than like the people even from California. It's way more diverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of. It's almost its own country, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
If you drive out of California, it's gonna be 500 miles desert.
Yeah.
Pretty much. If you go east, it's like 500-mile desert. Then you go to Arizona or Vegas.
Yes.
So Arizona, I couldn't see much because we actually stayed at the track at DNC then, and then Vegas is Vegas. That's their own thing as well.
Right.
So, like, I really haven't seen much, like, because California, I haven't seen what happens there, but it's still like, I don't think anyone can say that's like that's what most America is like. But East Coast, I'd say, even like most people I talk to and ask about it, they agree with me that would be like the real America.
Yeah.
Almost. And it's definitely, compared to what I'm used to, it's more free, but not always in a good way.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll say that way. It's definitely people gonna do more whatever they want. Start up their car in a pit table inside a tent and don't worry about people blasting their ears out or whatever.
Oh, you mean at the track?
Huh?
You mean at the track? Yeah.
Yeah. Or like people having air compressor under their table and bursting dust everywhere. No one cares. Like back at home, you'll get yelled at. You'll be like, "Are you stupid?" I was like kind of like hesitant blowing my car out with the air compressor because he was like in the middle of a pitch, and every time I did it, like all the dust flew everywhere. But no, like everyone's like, "That's normal." I'm like, okay, whatever. When in Rome, do as the Romans, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, where else could we do it? We was all crammed into that pit area, and we kind of.
Oh yeah.
So
kind of but
good
yeah,
stuff.
but the thing is, like back at home, I always used to like races having air compressors, like
a station,
like times are stamped somewhere in the wall. Like you always know what's going on. It's all organized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you go to USA, you're gonna be in for a surprise if you don't.
Yeah,
don't worry about that. That's what I was in for.
So, Max, tell us a little bit about your experience in America outside of the track and RC.
Outside the track and RC, probably, well, definitely different. But one instance definitely is on top of everything else I've seen, probably ever in my life going outside of Finland, which is this one steakhouse, and after we were eating. This waitress called the group sitting next to us, who happened to be African Americans, a bunch of animals, and we were both kind of mind boggled about that. We were thinking about it for a while after we walked out. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is something. It's not just America. I mean, this happens worldwide. But you got a little taste of racism, buddy. That's what you got. And I know it stuck out in your mind because you told me about it like right after it happened. I remember, and I can't say I haven't seen that either in my travels. But unfortunately, it happened. There's ignorant people out there that think that they can get away with calling people animals and judging people by the color of their skin. So I understand how that stood out for you, because I don't know if you see that in Finland. I don't know how things are there. I mean, I try not to get into race things because I'm not, I'm mixed all up myself. And most people, when I come to America, they think I'm Mexican or something, trying to sneak in, So I've been a victim of racial profiling myself, but I just kind of don't let it affect me. I just know how to deal with it and keep on going. So you did get a little bit of a taste of something that's alive and prevalent, And I can't just say it's just in America. I think it's in a lot of countries. So
it's in a lot of countries, but to me it was like not that she said that. I've heard someone say that before, but the fact that she was a waitress, none of her friends or co-workers seemed to care too much about that comment, and that's what's most boggling about me. And they like waitress saying that to someone random. That's what blew my mind. I've heard people say that, but they're usually some trash people, like just wanted to trash everyone else except for them because they're the best, even though they're dirty and whatever. They just hate everyone else except for.
Yeah, man, but that, you can't judge. I mean, that's just ignorant people, and you know, unfortunately, you got to see that. But I mean, you're not a kid anymore. That's life, you know. Unfortunately, you know. So
yeah.
Otherwise, I know that stood out in your mind, and I know you wanted to say that because you were shocked when you first saw it, and you should be, you know, first time seeing it like that. So that's how it goes, man. What about everything else in America?
Like, yeah, people are just a bit more wild in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of hard to describe.
Yo, Finland's very laid back. I'm not laid back, very, I want to say structured. I've never been there, but it seems very structured. Like looking at you and Joseph, you guys are both very structured people. If that makes sense. And like, that's... Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So like, even when I arrived at the Finnish airport, when I arrived at the airport in USA, it was like, you wait for 3 hours, whatever. In Finland, every single one went there and got away from there like under half an hour.
Yeah.
Like from customs and all that.
Yeah.
Like, and then when you leave the airport, there's no traffic. Cars leave. Like cars go where they should go. No craziness going on. I think it's just like everything's more organized. I enjoy that. I mean, everyone can enjoy what they enjoy, but for me, it's just like every time you go out somewhere out of your house in East Coast, it's kind of like you're in for a disaster everywhere you look.
Well, not a disaster, but it's just I think it's a complete and different culture shock as well.
Yeah, it's a different type of way to live. It's more of a free for all, I'd say.
And I like the East Coast though. I like the racing there. I like the people there. They're nice people. I think the East Coast is very hard working. I think they're very hard working. They race a lot. They do. It's a lot of places to race. There's always some racing going on. I think the people there just like to go. They work Monday to Friday and they go racing on the weekend. And I do like that. I do like the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, the people there are very nice. Like the people. Oh, everyone's really nice. I'm more talkative back at home, but really nice. Like, like it's just what they're used to, what they've grown up with, and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely coming from here. It's definitely a new experience.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You went there to get RC practice. You hung out with Mike. Thank you to Mike Hill and Heather for having you. I thought it was good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You got a nice body painted up by Evan Vale, too.
Evan. Oh, yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, huge thanks has to go to Mike and Heather. And they took really good care of me over there. Were nice enough to let me live there for 3.5 weeks. And, travel with them to the races and all that. It's amazing. And I'm real thankful for them. And also Evan for the body is really, really great. And my dad was impressed too when I showed him body today. And yeah, I'm really thankful for that too. And
yeah, he posted it up on Facebook because you haven't had like a professionally painted body for a long time, have you?
Like I have one painted by some South African guy. Okay. I ran in at Vegas World.
Okay. So,
but
so that's your USA tour or trip in a nutshell.
In a nutshell?
I mean that's it in a nutshell. I mean you had a good time. You definitely saw a different culture. You met a lot of people. I mean, I got a lot of messages from people that were like, "Man, Max is a really nice kid. I like him. He's super smart." You know, and I think you impressed a lot of people that way. You know, because you are a smart kid. Yes, you can get smart in the mouth too, but you're a smart kid. I blame Joseph for that, but I think you had a good time. I think you made a great impression over there, just like you did at DNC. So I hope you get back to America to race. I mean, well, obviously you'll probably be coming back for RCGP when they do the American race, but it's good stuff. So now that you're out of school, you got a gap year now. Like you're gonna take a year off to just focus on RC. I take it.
Yeah, that's my plan. I'll go in the army in next January anyway, so I'll have to take gap year anything I do. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's your plan now? Obviously, you're going down to RC as we're recording this. You're packing your bags. You fly out for Philippines on Sunday. That's another long flight ahead of you. This is a really great event. I'm excited. I'm sad I'm not going, but I am going to Silver State. So, I'm pretty happy about that. Are you excited to go to Philippines?
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of, the track looks very difficult, and that's like one of the first things I gotta face. But it's always different in pictures. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna, like, I get more of an understanding of the track when I get there. But yeah, of course I'm excited. Racing against all those top drivers and getting these opportunities is amazing to get that. And yeah, Joseph's been helping me set up and getting us ready to go in the Philippines. Obviously, he's had some practice at the track. And yeah, I think I'll be ready to go once we hit trackside of Philippines.
Yeah, and this is your first time going to a country like the Philippines, because you was teasing me the other
first
day.
time going to Asia.
Yeah. I think the Philippines is very similar to the Dominican Republic. It was under Spanish control. The exchange rate's the exact same as here. It's, they count in Spanish. It seems very similar to the Dominican Republic, in my opinion. I've never been there. Worked around a lot of Filipinos, nice people, always willing to help you out. Very smart people as well. So I think you're gonna have fun. I think you're gonna be witness another culture shock that you've never really seen before, which is like, I wouldn't say it's like third world, but first world at the same time. It's similar to DR. DR's third world and first world in some places.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be different for you. I'm looking forward to hearing about your experiences there. So what's after RCGP for you?
After RCGP is going to be first Finnish National. I'm going to be attending that. And then I'm not 100% sure about Euros warm-up. We're probably going to go because they have a new layout, new dirt. I'll probably have to go.
Where is the Euros this year anyway?
Ungaring.
All right. Yeah. How could I forget? Jesus.
Yeah. Sacile in Italy.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I'm gonna have next week after your warm up. I'm gonna have my graduation party.
Oh yeah.
That's when I finally officially graduate.
Oh, that's like officially for the school.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. You gonna get a haircut?
I'll keep you.
You should get a haircut in the Philippines.
I'll keep it as a surprise for you.
Get a haircut in the Philippines. I think Joseph's gonna make you get a haircut in the Philippines. I think it's mandatory. But
I'm going on my hippie look.
Yeah, I know. But then you have the rounds 2 and 3 of RCGP.
Yeah, straight after my graduation is gonna be round 2 in fairing. Then it's gonna be. We haven't really planned out fully yet, but our plan is to go the Euros by car, do a little bit of a Euro trip.
With
that's
Joseph?
not planned out yet, but that's probably what's gonna happen for Euros, and then for the third round in Asti.
Yeah, have you been to the Asti track or a fairing track before?
I've been to fairing in 2012 when they held the Euros, but never been to Asti.
Okay, both look like really good tracks. I'm jealous. Yeah. I would love to get over there.
Yeah, fairing the dirt is amazing. They usually build up a good track, and the facility, everything there, people are super nice, and the town where the race is held at, that's one of my favorites I've ever been to. Kind of a small, but still have a lot of small hotels and good amount of shops to get by, so you don't have to look around for everything.
So this is pretty cool. You're going to be living the RC dream here. That's exactly what's going to be happening. I mean, but you've done it before with Joseph, but now you're going to be doing it like this is for all the marbles type of thing. Like, now we're not saying you're going to beat Joseph. We think you're going to beat Joseph. Now we're saying you're beating Joseph. Like, it's, the kind of like the torch has been passed. Like, the evil Sith Lord has got his Sith, like I like to use Star Wars because I call Joseph the Sith Lord and you're like his apprentice. So like he's passed his lightsaber onto you, and now it's time to like vanquish the Sith Lord and take over the mantle as top driver. So hopefully that happens. And so then I could tease him.
Have you been watching too much Star Wars lately?
I'm a Star Wars fanatic, dude. But, so I think it's pretty cool. But I wanted to talk to you because you watched it. I think you watched it. I don't know if you watched it live. What did you think of this DXR race that Lutz won here recently?
The DXR race. We watched the main with Mike on our way to practice one day, and I was kind of mixed feelings. I feel like something needs to kind of change in Ongara's race plan, I'd say, because he seems always fast for the qualifiers and mains. Sometimes it's kind of like he's on the edge a lot of times. I feel like he goes for too soft tires and too slippery setup, sort of thing. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know what he's running, but that's how it looks like from the outside. I think the Agamas look great. All the Agamas in the main look pretty good. So that's probably why Lutz had a good shot as well. And he drove great. He just held on there and took it away. More of like stole it away, I'd say.
Yeah. What do you think about the actual event? It looked just like Neo, but with us.
It was just like Neo, except for the 80s UK timing they use. I don't know why.
Yeah. We talked about that on the previous podcast.
Yeah, I think that's the BRC's own timing thing. They use that for every UK race, I think. Like I haven't seen a UK race that doesn't use that.
Okay.
Maybe there are MKGP. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the MKGP.
Yeah, MKGP.
British GP they called it.
Yeah.
Another great event.
Yeah.
Another great
they use my RCM.
Okay.
But yeah.
What did you think of the track?
Well, my initial feeling, what I said to Mike Hill, was that every year the XR builds like a good track with good jumps, good flow, and then they always have this one spot that's kind of odd, like an off section, kind of like a surprise to everyone. And what I said to Mike was like, this year is they took every single odd section from all the past years and put it into one track. that was my like initial feeling. Well, it ended up being a decent track for race on. Like, it provided good racing. I pretty much agree with Joseph said about the track, kind of like having a good run up and then like the last few corners kind of mess it up. That's what I pretty much felt like. I think the track kind of got bumpy this year. I don't think that usually happens. I heard he got high grip, which is kind of rare too. I feel like. So definitely different from what the Neos used to be like, I think.
Yeah, I think they watered less, so that made it, and it was hotter, so it dried the track out a lot more. According to Lutz, that's what he said on the podcast. I think it was a great event. I think they'll be back next year. It was probably one of the best finals I've seen. It had a lot of drama.
Final, I'd say.
I think the only final that could compare to that this year was the Montpellier final, which had Boots and Canas and all those guys.
There's been a lot of good finals though.
Yeah. Well,
if you think about it, like, okay, DNC last year, that was great.
Yes.
Neo race last year, that was great.
Yes.
Montpellier last year, that was great.
That was good last year too.
Euros last year, that was really good.
The Worlds, not
Worlds,
even, yes.
Worlds, good for like the first 15 minutes, whatever. What else? World Nationals, that was good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think racing's pretty good right now. Like, I don't think there's been too many bad races at all.
You know what I'm really liking is these LCQs, man. I really enjoyed the LCQ at the Worlds. I enjoyed it at this race here. I think didn't you go into LCQ at the? Was you in the LCQ at the last Neo last year?
Yeah, it was Neo last year. It was an LCQ. I flamed out or something. I ran out of fuel in the semi. It was some issue in the pit lane or something. and then what was the other one? Oh yeah, LCQ. I flamed out. I guess too low. I don't know. That used to happen, but now I'm running OS, so I hope that doesn't happen anymore.
So what have you learned? Did you learn anything while you've been doing all this racing and all this practice and training in America? Did you learn anything new? Have you learned anything that you need to do to your car, yourself, your wrenching, anything?
I try to focus mostly on my driving because I feel like on certain type of tracks I really lack like how to drive the car. And I think I found some things I need to improve on. And mostly just like you kind of have to look the track and know what to do before you do it, and then you get a like feeling of how to do it. Kind of like I think I mostly just wanted to work on myself and driving, and get that up to order because I know the car is good. Like any track I go to, like one day I tried everything I could, went back to my P&B setup and was faster.
Really?
It's like, yeah, like there's a lot of days I tried like all these different pistons, all these different springs, and then I won't go back to my P&B setup, and it's like, wow, it's so good again. only tracks were like Badlands and Sumter, which are both high group tracks, which obviously I'm not gonna run 2.1 front sway bar. So only those two tracks I ended up running a different setup, which I actually got a pretty good setup in those tracks too. But I'd say it like all the low grip tracks or how like real dirt tracks, not gripped with calcium or whatever they use. All those tracks, I'd say like I tried all I could think of, and most of the time I just ended up in my PAB setup.
Cool. Well, I think you're getting to that next level. I think you got confidence going into RCGP. You have 3 races, so you have the 2 15-minute races and you have the 60-minute main. So you have 2 chances. I mean, basically you're going to be racing every time you hit the track, which is cool. Which is cool
That's
as
great.
well. I'll be watching that. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to get any sleep in Vegas because I'm going to be trying to watch RCGP and I'll be at
Vegas never sleeps. Vegas never sleeps.
Yeah, man. For you, 18-year-old, that's cool. For me, I'm old now. I'm 41.
18 in US, you can't do anything with that.
I know that. I know that's a big thing for you too because you're so, you just went 18 and, obviously in Europe you can go hang out at bars and go drinking and stuff like that legally. So you couldn't do that in America, buddy. But,
no can do.
Yeah, it's good, man. I'm happy it was good to see you. We had our moments. We had good times. We had arguments too. I felt like at one point I was arguing with my little brother. I was like, it made me so angry. But that's how it goes. Like when you have real friends, sometimes you get in arguments with them. I know I get in arguments with Joseph all the time, like daily. So it was fun. It was good to see you. I'm really excited to see what you do this year. I think you're a very smart guy. I mean, kid, like Joseph has done a really good job of teaching you how to work on your car, how to wrench on your car, how to set up your car and make changes to make your car better or more comfortable for you. And it's really, I think in the last year since DNC and now I'm really getting to see that. I didn't know you before that, but I can see where you do things just like Joseph. You know what I mean? Except that you're actually driving better than him, I would say. So,
I mean, I should, right?
All right. Being as you're here, because you was teasing me on Facebook about pronunciation of the European names, and I got you here now. I'm gonna pronounce the names properly now. So we have Zankatine, Alex Zankatine.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say these right. But that's what most Europeans say. It's Sankatine. And this one I didn't know. Like the Kilich is Kilich. It is Burak Kilich.
Kilich. So I couldn't like if you look at his name you think it's Kilich. So I always say Kilich.
Yeah.
So Burak Kilich. Who else? João Figueiredo. I figured it out.
João Figueiredo. That's what that's one that I'm most uncertain about, but I think that's pretty good. João Figueiredo.
Yeah,
I think that's close.
For you, those that don't know, on episode 23, I butchered all the European names. Not as much as Jeff, who keeps putting an I in Ongario.
Ongario. Battier, Ongario.
It's Battier. So
Battier, Ongario.
Good stuff, man. We'll be in touch while you're at RCGP, and we're always talking. And thank you for coming on and sharing your experience in America. Before we go, would you like to give some more shout outs before we close this podcast?
Shout out. Okay. Mike Hill, Heather Hill, of course. Both great hosts for me in America. Real thankful for them. Their dog, Rocky, and their other dog, and Riley. I almost forgot her name. And then Lancer, the cat. They kept me company when I was alone, wrenching when Mike was asleep. My mom and dad letting me go for 3.5 weeks all by myself. And what else? Emmanuel, It's great to see that he was nice enough to make me a buddy, pay me a buddy show. It's really great. I really love the design. And then SMB and WCRC, both great tracks. Truly recommend. Nice people, Bobby and I can't remember the name of the guy who has the SMB track right now, but the people at SMB anyway. Great people. And then Brent Densham from BHRC, he helped me get my OS engine. We had some issues with shipping them early enough, so Brent got me one to run for PMB and for other races. So huge thanks to him. He also lended me some J concept tires and switched them around where I didn't have the right compound. So truly a great guy, great help, and a great distributor for JQ. He has a good plans ahead. He's a great guy to be our distributor in USA. And I'm trying to figure out everything. Everyone else. All the JQ guys in PMB, Badlands, and at WCRC, all the guys we saw at the races. Great guys. I don't think I met a JQ guy I didn't like. So yeah, all the guys I met so far have been cool guys, and cool to see you all, and hope to see you come to more races with JQ Racing.
Good stuff, man. Well, let me let you get back to packing. Spend some time with your dad and your mom, and have a safe flight to the Philippines, and have fun, man, and kick some ass and see if you can do some damage over there, and definitely beat Joseph. That is number one on my beat Joseph. Please, I need you to beat him so I can tease him. That's what I need.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Bye.
You are entering the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. The part of the podcast that gives the listeners a platform to talk about RC. Brought to you by Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products.
I know in the last podcast I announced that we have a new segment, and it's called the Grassroots Racer Spotlight. So this segment is dedicated to all these racers out here who are working hard, working Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, and they're racing on the weekends, and they're going to these big races, and they're staying 4 or 5 guys to a room just to race. Well, I asked everybody to guess who the sponsor is, and as of yet, when I'm recording this, nobody has guessed who the sponsor is. So without, I'm not going to fool around with you guys anymore. I'm going to tell you who the sponsor is. This segment is actually brought to you by Techno RC. And I know this comes to a surprise as many people, but it's funny. Matt Walter reached out to me about a month ago. He listened to one of the podcasts. I said that we should talk. We should work together as an industry. And, he decided to reach out and sponsor this podcast. Sponsor this segment of the podcast. I pitched what I wanted to do. I wanted to try and make it where we really can't do call-ins, so I kind of wanted to have a segment for our listeners to talk and say what they want to say about RC and tell us about what they think and what they want to see change and whatnot. So, it worked out. I know a lot of people are probably shocked because they know that JQ and Techno kind of have some sort of beef. I have nothing against Techno. Matt's a great guy. I haven't met the owner yet, and Tubo's good. I haven't really talked much to Joe Bornhorst, but we all know there's been some sort of beef between Joseph himself and the Techno. But this is us trying to work together and show people that we can come together and do something good with each, even though we are competitors in a market. So the idea is we all want to try and work together to grow the industry. So Techno came, stepped up, sponsored this segment. I'm happy to announce it. I'm super happy about it. And I decided we're going to do this randomly. So if you want to be on this if you want to be in this segment, you got Skype, send me a message, shoot me an email, and we'll work it out. So the first person that I decided to put on this is a good friend of mine because I think he is the epitome of the grassroots racer. I've gotten to know him over the last few months, and his name is Lucas Lauren. What's up, Lucas? How are you?
How's it going, Keeton?
I'm good. I'm a little bit jealous because your microphone is better than mine. So,
sorry.
I'm a little bit upset about that. And I'm going to have to upgrade my microphone here because, you sound so awesome. Your bass is coming through and all that good stuff. But enough about that nerdy stuff. What's up, Lucas? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fan-freaking-tastic, as Jeff Keeton would say. I'm living the dream, man. RC every day. What's up?
Yeah, you are. You work at a hobby shop. You race. You race weekly. You race club race weekly. What else do you do? You go to club races, 8-scale races. You don't race many big races.
I do not.
Yeah.
Only if they're local. Which
yes.
Locally, we have quite a few big races.
Yes, you do. Because you're local. Let's talk about that. First off, tell us, everybody.
We're spoiled.
First off, sorry. Now I know. I get tongue twisted. You know that. But first off, let's tell everybody how you got started into RC.
I did RC cars as long as I could buy them from Kmart or the toy store or wherever. They were always toy bought cars. I never got into hobby grade RC until I was about 40 years old. And I accidentally ran across this BMX track in a public park. And I was like, man, look at this BMX track. Come find out it's like this RC nitro-powered supercross track. And it pretty much changed everything from there on out.
Which track was this?
I got in. This was going to be the Badlands in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
That's your home track, your home 8-scale track.
It's my home track. It's pretty much one of the 2 tracks I race at. And at the time, I was about ready to buy a dirt bike because I was having a midlife crisis. And I found this track, and it saved my life probably because I was probably going to try to whip a triple and kill myself.
So RC got you the adrenaline that you was looking for. That's cool.
It did. And man, when I saw like the first race of Badlands, how everyone pulls up in their trailers and all the people are just dedicated to it and the cars are all wah, wah. That's all I needed. I was like, man, I don't need to put my life on the line. These dirt bikes are too old for that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do some nitro stuff.
Yeah. So, and also you work at Beach RC. You work with Brent, and you're like one of the main guys there, actually.
I am. Yes.
So you do a lot of the RD stuff for club racing as well as racing. I've been there and I've watched you. You're a busy man.
Yep, absolutely. I work 6 days a week over there. I do just about a little bit of everything. Anything that comes in or goes out, JQ, Beach RC, Assault RC, Ultimate, I'm touching it, coming in and going out and putting my name on it. And hopefully I'm sending you a piece of candy.
Yeah, people don't know, Beach RC sends you like some candy, a Sour Power or an hour later or a Fireball or whatnot. You guys definitely have fun. So tell us, Lucas, what is your favorite class of racing?
My favorite's definitely 8-scale Truggy Nitro. Truggy.
You're a Truggy fan. I know you love Truggy.
I love the buggies. I do the buggy the most. Mm-hmm. But you just can't beat the big old Truggies, those big old tires. It's all just big and rolling over everything. They're awesome.
Yeah. I like Truggy too. As much as a lot of people like to hate on it, I'm not going to say no names, but it begins with a J and ends with a Q.
Yeah.
I actually like truggy myself.
He hated on e-buggy as well, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, but that pays the bills, so what can I say?
Oh, it does.
I actually want a 5th scale one day. That's my retirement right there. I'm going to retire at a 5th scale. So,
no doubt.
Like, what I like about you, Lucas, is you don't really travel to any races. You race at Beach RC. You race at Badlands. Where else do you race that's local to you?
That's it. Beach RC and Badlands. I've been out of town once to race, and it was for the Nationals warm-up race in Florida. Mm-hmm. Let's see, last year, 2 years ago, something like that.
Last year.
Mm-hmm. And it was pretty cool. I mostly went there to work, so that's how I get out of town. If I'm ever getting out of town with RC, it's going to be with work.
Right.
Because I don't find the drive to do it on my own dime and my free time, driving so many hours personally. Because, look, most people in their local tracks, their local track could be anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours away. I got the Badlands and Beach RC within 15 minutes of each other. Mm-hmm. Where do I need to go?
Yeah, and they're both great tracks.
Spoiled.
Both great tracks.
They're some of the best in the Southeast.
Yeah, you're like the ultimate club racer, I would say.
I love club racing.
Yeah.
I think more people should focus on club racing. And, the big events, man, there's just so many of them. It really depletes
the club racing,
people's finances. Yeah. And, there's a lot of, there's enough almost club races there where we're starting to water the crowd down a little bit here in the Carolinas. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. I mean, club racing is where it all came from. You don't actually have to join a club usually. Mm-hmm. You just, we're part of the RC club. Just owning an RC, you're part of the club. Let's go race.
Yeah, I like to say no matter where we're from, what language you speak, race, political divide, what country you're from, we have one common denominator, and that's RC. And I've met some awesome people. I've met some assholes too. No, I can't. I know I said I wouldn't curse on this segment, but
you cursed twice.
I did. I did.
I marked it down.
Oh, geez. All right, teacher Lauren. But I've met mostly, I would say 99% of the people that I've met in RC are really good people, man. And
absolutely.
And we doubt. And RC's had given me so many opportunities, not just in the industry, but outside as well. So it's really, and I like that club feeling too. I kind of miss it, like going to my local track and having fun with your friends and just, turning laps into the first person flips, and then you win that race, and learning from that fast local guy. He's teaching you, giving you all his knowledge, and I think that needs to happen some more. We need to get new people in and get them to these tracks and get them racing. Yes, big races are fun. They're fun. I love them. I enjoy them. I love seeing these pros go, and I like seeing all this action. But definitely need to get club racing again. So I definitely agree there. So tell me, Lucas, what do you like most about RC?
Mostly what I like about RC is sending it. I like to send big jumps. Big jumps.
So you don't...
And you know what else is cool about RC?
Yeah.
Is just sending it.
Yeah. Do you send it with responsibility? I tell people all the time to send it, but send it with responsibility. Or you just send it.
Well, yeah, you don't want to hurt anybody, but... you definitely want to grab a handful of throttle and just, see where it goes.
I have a question. Have you had a chance to use your Badland tires yet?
As much as possible.
Yeah. Hey guys, Lucas has got this set of like motocross Proline Badland tires. He has them on his table and is waiting. He's like, I'm going to use these one day. He's waiting for that ultimate mud race, and he wants to just go
I use them on a high bike sandpaper track, just for fun, man.
Yeah.
You can't have more fun than with the Badlands. And then if you can actually get into some sort of a mutter or just a wet, loose, loamy track, put some Badlands on and just send it.
I know. All right, you make me laugh, Luke. You make me laugh. I have a question for you, buddy. What do you want to see change in RC? I know you have some opinions about RC, so here's your chance to talk about that.
I've thought about that. And first off, I think I'm too new into RC, like at the, higher grade hobby shop RC to even have that kind of opinion, what I think should change or whatever. I don't think I'm in a position to even have that opinion. I just think RC is cool, and I'm glad to be part of it. But I did think about that same question, and what I noticed this past weekend, I believe, I went out of town with Brent's trailer to sell some stuff at a track and maybe race. I ended up not racing, but I got to go to some different track.
I think it was Sumter, right?
Sumter, South Carolina. They got a great facility, amazing people. It was really cool. I like being there a lot. But what I noticed was the amount of kids that were involved there compared to what I'm used to. And we got our share of kids, and they're mostly racers, and they're pretty much the best racers. They stomp just about everybody, and if they don't, they're gonna in just a matter of time. But we got a nice handful of kids, or 2 handfuls. But we got just a lot of just dudes that trying hard to race their RC cars, and there's a lot of seriousness going on sometimes. Some people are having fun. Well, they were all having fun, but it just, I don't see as much children locally as I did at this other place in Sumter. And those children weren't only just there, but they were having fun. I saw one kid spend about 30 minutes washing his tires. Those things had to just be soaked. But he put so much time and attention into it, man. He was just getting, I was like, I looked over, he was still doing it. He's only like on the second tire. So, and then the kids out there, when they're done racing in the kids class, they're all out there in their marshalling positions, hustling like faster than anybody, dancing when they're not chasing down some car. I saw more kids dancing in their marshalling positions. I just thought it was really cool. And if you want to grow the hobby, the parents have the money, the adults have the money, but the kids are the future. They're the growth of it. That's where it all is at. And the more kids you can get into this, however it takes to do it, that's how the hobby's going to grow. And if the hobby grows, the sport of racing is going to grow. But without the hobby growing, racing isn't going to do much of anything.
That's actually a very good observation. It's good to see kids out there having fun, just having fun. They get their race with their friends, and they get to hang out with them. And like you said, just go and wash tires or they're so full of energy, they're running around the track. And, I think, I really like to see that. I really like to see, I like to see the father-son teams. I like to see the whole family at the track having fun, like mom, sister, everybody participating, making a day of it. What I don't like to see is the seriousness of some father-son things. I think that I don't like that. I mean, we're like a father trying to live vicariously through his son. I get it. You have to have discipline, and it's not just in RC; it's in all other sports. But I think you also touched on a very important subject that a lot of us forget to do, and that's to actually have fun. We got in this to have fun. Sit off with your friends, talk crap, banter. Watch your son my son's gonna beat your son, but in a friendly rivalry type of situation. I think we need to remember why we did this and why we do this, and when we start having fun again, and we get our kids racing again. I'm waiting for the day my son says, I want to start racing, or hopefully we have a tracker and he can do that. And I'll be like, all right, well, I don't race anymore, but I'll be your wrench and I'll teach you what to do. But when you stop having fun, then we're not doing this anymore. So that's good stuff.
This is how I look at it. If you're not having fun racing your toy car, why are you playing with your toy car? I mean, look, I hear this all the time. I'm competitive naturally, or I've always been competitive. Who isn't? Who isn't competitive, right? I'm competitive. I used to be the most competitive person in my mind out there, but I make sure that when I do this and what I'm spending all my money on and all my time and attention on, that look, I'm playing with these cars. I'm playing to have a good time. I almost never win. And if I do, either I got lucky or everyone broke or something. But when I feel like a lot of times when I walk off that driver's stand, I won because I had the best time up there. You know, I've been reprimanded for making too much noise. I'll sit out there and hoot and holler, and I'll talk a little smack on the driver's stand, only in a fun way. You know, I don't sit there and yell at any marshals or anything, but I'm up there having a good time. And if I'm not having a good time, and there's only been like 2 or 3 times in my 4 years or so that I haven't had a good time, and every time I just walked off the driver's stand, because what am I up there getting all mad for or something? You know, I want to win, and I improve myself as a driver. And if I don't, I'll know about it when I walk out the driver's stand. But at the end of the day, I better have a good time out there. What am I wasting all my money on for?
I agree, man. I understand that point 100%. And I think people forget that. And I think we need to get back to that, man. Having fun, racing, competing against people that share the same passion that you do. It's awesome stuff. My last question before we sum this up is, I know you're not big into this, but do you have a favorite driver or race that you would love to go to? Like a special race you'd like to go to, or a favorite driver that you cheer on when he is racing?
I cheer on any local who's gone out of town is racing in a big race. So I'll pay attention to, you know, Psychos or AMS or whatever. And if our young guys, which those are the fast guys, typically, you know, I'm paying attention to them for sure. I love the young guys or the young girls or whoever's coming up because I talk mad junk to them. I make them earn it. And usually when they first start, I'm good with them. But eventually I know they're going to pass me by. So I make sure I let them earn it.
That's good.
So when they go to big races, I'll follow them. I'm rooting them on. So I love our local guys. I love anyone who races here locally that might be from, you know, the Carolinas or whatever. So all your fast guys that are in the Carolinas, I love. Professionally, I've only really talked to one driver, and that was Ryan Mayfield. So I'm a fan of his. He's cool. He came up to me when no one else did and helped me out with an issue I was having when I was out of town once. And so, you know, I respect that. That guy is a normal person. Just happens to be one of the fastest guys in the world.
Yes, he does. Did you like the podcast with him?
Yes. Lefty the Great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your podcast for a minute.
All right, we can do that, because I know you're a big supporter of it, and I appreciate your support.
I'm a big supporter of your podcast, and I'm a podcast enthusiast.
Yes, you are.
I've been listening to podcasts probably for 15 years of whatever sports or whatever's interesting. Joe Rogan, whatever. Give me a good podcast. I'll listen to it, because I got a lot of things I do on my spare time. I want something to listen to, preferably something interesting. Lefty the Great just happens to be almost a kind of a savant genius, not sure what, but
genius, I don't know, but anyway,
I don't know. You're this radio, podcast, microphone, you rock that stuff. Every time I listen to you, it's so natural, it's ridiculous. What are you on? 22 episodes?
Well, this will be 24
and a few RCGP things. You got it going on like you've been doing it for years.
Well, I enjoy it.
Absolute natural. And on top of that, this is what makes it so good. Is you're so likable in the RC community. No matter what people think about JQ, they all love Lefty the Great.
Well, I'm sure there's some people out there that don't like me too much. That's all right.
Not very many. They're probably just whatever.
You know. But I appreciate it, because I remember when I first started this, you was a big supporter, and you would say, do this or do that, because I know you listen to a lot of podcasts, and I appreciate it, man. And now that it's coming a little bit more natural, I'm more comfortable in front of the mic, and I know I get things tongue twisted, and I know I say things wrong, and I do that, but that's just me being natural, and that's how I talk.
That's fantastic.
In normal life. So I appreciate the support, man, and I look forward. I mean, we only had a couple races that we hung out with, and thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on, and you're the first person to do this segment. And
yes, I'm like George Washington of the Keenan K. White, Lefty the Great, No Name RC Grassroots Podcast.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I know one day we're gonna get you on, and we're gonna like get you on a rant or get you on with some people and have fun doing it, because I know you like this, and like you're gonna now Mike. Brent can't get his mic back now. You got to keep it. So
I told him he is never getting this beautiful piece of machinery back.
I know. I'm gonna get one.
It's now mine.
It's so awesome. I gotta get one.
I'm gonna start my own podcast just because of this microphone.
You should. I encourage everybody to start their podcast.
I'm gonna talk about nothing.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I think you have a lot to talk about.
This microphone sounds so beautiful. People will actually listen to it.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. I want to say thank you to you, Lucas. You want to say thank you to anybody before we leave?
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you listening to us. Yeah. Listen to the No Name RC podcast.
I gotta get. You know what? You're gonna have to give me a voice drop after this.
Okay.
Thank you to Techno RC for sponsoring this segment, guys. And thank you to all the No Name RC podcast listeners. If you want to be a part of this segment, hit me up. Let's talk, and let's work out a time and a date that we can sit off and have a chat. If you got something to say about RC, something that's pissing you off, something that you like, something that you want to see change, anything like that, hit me up and let's talk about it. All right? So thank you, Lucas, and we're going to sign off from the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight.
Hola, soy Robert Valle y tú estás escuchando the No Name RC Podcast.
This week, we have my buddy who is a podcaster himself and an avid 10-scale racer and kind of I would say he's an RC Facebook personality. People know who you are. Let's not be silly here, but I got my buddy all the way from Liverpool with his Scouse accent and everything, Mr. Aidan Burke. What's going on, Aiden?
How are you, Keenan?
I'm all right. Now, in case you guys don't know Aiden, he races a lot of 10 scale in the UK. He's traveled a bit. He was in Vegas. Was it last year or earlier this year?
Yeah, it was last year. Thanksgiving, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. He also has a podcast called The Extra Lap, which focuses a lot on 10 scale racing in the UK and 10 scale racing, period. So if you want to go check out a pretty cool podcast about 10 scale and racing in the UK, go check out The Extra Lap on iTunes.
Oh, well, Keeton, I'm very happy to be here. I'm a massive fan of your podcast.
And I like your podcast too. And you have been one of the greatest supporters, giving me messages and little tips and hints, and I greatly appreciate it. And we talk on a regular basis. But you're getting really popular on the internet. Everybody's getting to know who you are. You was at EOS recently. Yeah, you do a lot of racing and you see a lot of things. So you do a lot of club racing and whatnot. So this is kind of, you fit into this grassroots racer spotlight, I would say.
Well, thanks a lot. I am really lucky. My local 110th Astro track, which is Southport, is 15 minutes from my house. Mm-hmm. So that's really easy and we race every Sunday. If we're nowhere else, at Southport. It's a great facility. It's in a public park. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things you talk about, Keenan, is sometimes RC is hidden away.
Yes.
Well, we are in a public park in a seaside holiday town.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
A typical British quiet with a pier and a beach and a fair. And our track is in a park in the middle of town. So we're really lucky. We get people walking past all the time. So I think that really does help sort of spread the word about RC. But I am also really lucky that I do get the opportunity to, I always say, pretend to be like an RC pro. Mm-hmm. And get a bit of traveling.
Yes.
I was really lucky to go to, as I said, Vegas, went to the IOCC Scotty Ernst race, Thanksgiving. And I've never been to the States before. Oh, really? That's your first time ever going to America? First time ever, 14 hours on a plane, just an amazing experience. I traveled by myself, but I knew guys who were there,
mm-hmm. And you look like you had a blast too.
Oh, mate, it was a great time. You know, I'm also, like you, a massive RC racing fan.
Yes.
Okay, to me, and we're both football fans.
Yes.
But it's similar to that.
Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
It's different because, you know, I've changed teams a lot. But to be able to sit in a room with Spencer Rivkin, Brett Telke, Scotty Ernst, Charlie, you know, it's just a dream come true.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Orlowski was sat at the end of our table.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're all really nice guys, and you can spend time with them and all that. And it's just, you know, I don't want to keep taking it back to football, but with football, you know, you'll never meet a footballer.
No, not if you will if you're lucky.
Yeah, and in sort of the racing we do in the UK, 110 is it's all one class for us. We all just run what we would call two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive modified. We don't have stock classes. We don't have sportsman classes. We all just run in the same class. So if you go to the UK Nationals or an EOS round, whether you're Lee, Neil, Michael Orlowski, Bruno Coelho, or Aiden, if you look at the EOS heat list, we're all in the same competition.
Yes.
You know, I'm 12 finals down, but you can, you know.
Yeah, I do like that about UK racing. I really do. There's no classes. I didn't realize that 10 scale was so big in the UK until I lived there for 6 months, and I can understand why, because you can do it all year round. But you guys definitely do a lot of racing over there too.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're an RC racer, you can. I think the old guys would say you could probably race more then, but you know, every Sunday seems to be our day in the UK. You can go to one of the many 1/10 off-road Astro tracks that we've got in this country, 10 or 15, and there'll be a meeting on.
Yes.
Sometimes we've got a great UK national series that's incredibly well run. You know, the second leg of the A final of a UK 1/10 national has been at the same time for the last 15 years. And you can set your clock by the way those guys run it, and they just do that for the love of it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't get paid, but they just do that really well. So our meetings are really well organised. We all follow the rules. We're all really nice guys.
Yes.
And travelling's not too far.
Yeah.
The UK's not so big.
The only problem is the traffic. When you do go, I do notice. I used to go to Silverstone a lot when I was there, and it's even on a Tuesday night. It's so organized. The rules are followed. Like people are avidly walking around to make sure that you're charging lipos and lipo bags. Like you have to marshal. You have to wear a high vis vest. All these type of things. Like one of my pet peeves is like at big races that people don't wear high vis vests, and I'm like, you don't know how important it is, because sometimes you don't see like when your person just out there in a regular clothes. You know, that yellow or that orange helps you see where that marshal is, so you don't hit them. So I think it's very important that rule needs to be followed more in RC period all over the world. I don't know why it isn't, but you know, it's definitely well organized in the UK. Booking in. I love that saying, and the rostrum. Like these are just some of the favorite words that I remember from racing in the UK.
Yeah, what we always use. Stick radios, which was the biggest thing that caused all the commotion when I went to America. They'd never seen a stick radio. And so that's why I always take a picture.
Yes.
Every time I meet someone with a stick radio and send it to Enzo Albertoni. So we're really lucky in the UK. 1/10 is stronger. You know, you can't. We qualify to our regionals for our nationals. So if you're not, we're ranked 1 to 5. If you're not an F3, as we would say, you won't get into the UK national.
Really? That's good.
So many people apply. So even guys who are as good as me, you know, what that means is bang average.
Right.
We'd probably all have to get a bit better before we'd be guaranteed a place.
Yes.
So the top 2 grades, if you're an F1, you know, an F1 like Lee Martin, Neil Cragg, or you know, you're an F2 like our Chris Everson, you know, those guys will always get a national entry. But then people like me would probably have to get a bit better, or we might need to go on the reserve list for the first year. So, our nationals are super competitive.
I could imagine. Are the nationals there a series of races, or is it one off race?
No, yeah, it's a series of races. So we have 6 UK nationals in a year in the summer.
Okay.
Over the weekend, we run 2-wheel drive on the Saturday and 4-wheel drive on the Sunday. 120 races maximum. It starts at 7 o'clock every morning. It finishes at 6:30, say, I don't know. And then we also have 2 other competitions for what we call for the juniors and vets, for the veterans, the over 40s. And we have a national for the guys who are the middle ranks and below, the F3, 4s and 5s.
Now, is that all on AstroTurf, or is it on dirt as well?
Okay, there's one dirt track in the UK. And it's not used so much.
Robin Hood?
The Robin Hood.
Yes.
It held the Euros there many years, the best Euros there's ever been. And it's coming back to run on Astro next year. But with the rain, it's very difficult for us to try and keep a dirt track. And Astro, also all of our clubs, all of our tracks, none of them are owned. Again, only one is attached to a shop.
Okay.
We're all amateur sports clubs.
Okay.
So the track in Southport is in a public park, and we pay the council an amount of money each year to use that space. So one of the things in the UK, when we even travel to Europe, and certainly when we travel to the States, the race fees are 10 times what we pay in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. So, to go to the EOS, it's about £40, or $50 is that, 50 euro. We'll go to the MKGP, which is the big meeting that was held brilliantly by the Silverstone Club, £20.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
At the biggest, that's 3 days of racing.
Yeah, that was a great event too. Really great event. In a shopping mall. The trophies look really good. One of the guys actually sent, after we did the trophy rant, he sent in the trophies that he made for that event. I thought it was great. Anything like that gets RC in front of people that normally wouldn't see it, I'm all about, so that's really a really good event. I wish more people would follow suit, and 10 scale, it's just much easier to do, set up, take the carpet or the turf, make your jumps, and you have a track, and it's not hard to do. I don't know why we don't see more of that in malls in America and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I think setting them up in a mall is, they work really hard, and they've got a certain spec after Christmas. You can see that they're clearing away the Santa Grotto.
Yeah.
And then they build that track. And that's a lot of work for those guys to go. Again, it's not a business. It's not something like those big American races that we see. These are guys just taking their own time off work to build that track for a great event for the UK. All the teams support it. All the manufacturers were there. All the big names were there. And still, some of the idiots I hang around with were still there. Again, in the same competition, 1/10 is really thriving.
Yes,
in the UK.
It is, man. Like when I was over there, I wanted to go because I was not far from Hertz. Well, I wouldn't say I was about an hour away from Hertz. Hearts, as you call it, sorry. And I really, I'm into 8 scale and nitro, but then it came down to the fact, like, it just didn't make sense. I just had to go get 10 scale, and I enjoyed it a lot more. I could pack all my stuff up, jump on the tube, and jump on a train, and go to the race if I had to. I couldn't do that with 8 scale. So I fell in love with 10 scale Astro over there. I definitely like 10 scale Astro. I know a lot of people say dirt is the way to go, but hey, sometimes just like getting the right tires, going having fun, charging batteries, and racing is more important to me than chasing tires and finding a setup. So
yeah, tires are a big thing. We race on Astro. We turn up on a Sunday and nobody's been there for a week. We'll let some tracks can be left down. We're in a public park. Anyone can walk onto our track at Southport, and you can just race straight away. And regarding tires, we just all tend to use the same thing. the same tyres, I suppose, and that's always been dominated by probably Schumacher over in the UK.
Yes.
We're very lucky that they will actually, they've gone out of their way to design tyres for events in the UK, like Worksop, which is on a rubber cork floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the closest we get to like a dirt field surface.
Yes.
Although because everything else in the UK is just high grip carpet, high grip Astro. And Schumacher actually went out the way and developed a tyre to use specifically on the surface, but everything else on Astro, on carpet, you're using a Schumacher Dart or a Schumacher Cactus, and then that carries on to what the EOS control tyre is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they're really great events for us in sort of to get all our top European guys together. And every so often, I know Shinadachi comes across from Japan, and some of the Americans have travelled over in the past. Just a great event. That's the way Red RC put that sort of footage together looks great for us.
Yes, I agree. Sometimes simple is just the easier way to go. Like everybody using the same tires. There's no, I just like to keep it simple sometimes. Especially, I'd rather do more racing than more wrenching most of the time. So the Southport track, is it like? I've probably seen pictures of it, but I don't know which one it is. Is it like flat or is it because I see
Southport is it's very long and thin. You'd probably say it's not very deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's Astro. It's brand new Astro. There's no sand in it, so it looks bright green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is as smooth as a pool table.
Okay.
The way the surface has been laid down, a lot of time has been spent making it the smoothest thing, and then all the features are then contoured in sort of concrete and then covered in Astro.
Right, that's what I meant to say. Like, there's no wooden jumps and stuff. It's all
not at Southport. No.
Yeah, that's good. Why do they? I always wonder, why do they put the sand on the Astro, or does it just come up from?
Yeah, it's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, Southport, we're really lucky and we really like our track, so we save all our money up, and then we actually can buy brand new Astro.
Okay.
That's sort of designed for people to go on lawns.
Right.
Okay, and then we're really lucky that one of our members professionally fits that, so we even glue ours together so there's no joint at all. But most of the UK Astro is reclaimed from other sources.
Got you.
So like a five-a-side or a hockey pitch. Every so often they need to be renewed, and that's low cost. As long as you can pick it up and take it away,
yes,
someone else has to pay to get rid of that, and so that's why a lot of them seem to have sand in.
Yes,
and then some clubs I've actually heard why put more sand in. They think it doesn't wear as much.
Okay,
so that's why sometimes we say as it gets hotter, the sand comes out, so actually we lose grip.
Got you. That I never even thought of that. Wow, so that's pretty amazing. So tell me, Aiden, what's your what do you like most about RC? How long? I don't know how long you've been into this, but what do you like most about this? About this hobby or this sport? Scale motorsports, as Nick Damon calls it. What attracts you to this more than anything?
I've been doing it about 10 years, maybe a bit longer. I don't remember. That I keep saying the bad old days of I've always had a Spectrum radio. I've always used LiPo and brushless systems. I've never done anything else. And it doesn't really sound like fun in the bad old days.
Yeah, like brushed motors and all that. No fun. No fun.
So now you come in and it's actually, I think it's got an accessible thing for new people to come into. You can buy this car and this and this and this, and everyone, especially because you're on mod, everyone's battery's the same, everyone's lipos are the same. Doesn't really make any difference. No. But what I really enjoy is the fact, just the time spent at the track. Football again, but I used to follow Everton, my football team, around Europe.
Yeah.
And we'd always get beat. But I've come back from Everton losing 5-1 in Romania, and people go, "How was your weekend?" "Oh, it was brilliant."
Yeah,
I had a great time and a weekend away with the lads.
Yeah. Well, you do that with RC now.
Just do that with RC. That's what we do. We went to a meeting that was held over the weekend which is our the very world famous and our 1/10 off-road Oopal website.
Yes, I remember Oopal.
So they run a series, and that was at our actual, wasn't that Southport? Is it Bury, which is the track next to us?
Mm-hmm.
So normally we'd actually go away for the weekend, and we don't camp. We're all old men, but stay in a cheap hotel, and sometimes we might get 4 guys in a room.
Yes, it's the same. I know. We do the same thing.
It's better than being in a tent.
Yeah.
So we will, and that's the time away. We do that 5 or 6 weekends away, or I'm really lucky with my job and my family that I can, my wife has no problem with me saying, oh, I'm going to a small town in Slovakia next week for 3 days to race toy cars. She goes, "What's brilliant? He's away with, it's just like a golf holiday."
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. That's the fun part about it. Going with your friends, having fun, racing, traveling to races, splitting a hotel room between 4 guys.
Yeah, you meet new people.
Yeah.
Well, before I went to Vegas, I was like, I don't know exactly who of the people I knew that were going.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting there thinking, well, I'm gonna have to befriend a few, Vegas guys on Facebook, and a few of them. Again, it's probably one of the things I also enjoy is you can meet new people.
Yeah.
Okay. I can chat to. I sent a message to a guy called Mike Katz, and he was actually checking me out with the rest of the KO Show American guys. Go, why is this Aiden fella sending me a message telling me he's come to Vegas? Because because you can just reach out, and then when you get to that track, I went to Vegas and walked in, and then we were just treated. Everyone's the same. We all love the same thing. We all come from different backgrounds. We all do different jobs.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you do. Because all that matters is, if you're a nice guy at the track, if you help other people, and how quick you are.
Yeah.
And, there's things like, it's a beautiful thing at our club, but there's a guy I know, like, he's like a same age as me, he's 43, and his racing nemesis is a 13-year-old girl. Okay. And he's literally, he comes off because if he beats that girl, he goes, yeah, you're in the final. But where else can you do that? I think it's great for kids. My lad's sort of 5.5, so a bit too young for this.
Mm-hmm.
But for the kids who are a bit older, they stand on a rostrum and they get standing next to a 60-year-old guy, and they're doing the same thing. And they talk differently. They meet a lot of adults. They really sort of grow up. They know the difference. They stand up for themselves. Because they know if not that anyone really shouts at children, but
Right.
No one should shout on the rostrum or anything along those lines. But if someone says you take me out, they've got to sort of argue discuss that with somebody.
Yeah, it's the one common denominator that we all have. I say this all the time. We made different races, different religions, different skin color, different upbringings, different countries, but we all love this one crazy thing called RC, and we all go to these races and we punish ourselves. I would say we punish ourselves, but we have fun. We say we're tired, we're going to take a break, and we do it all over again, the following week. That's the one common denominator is RC. I've met so many good people through RC, and it's opened up so many opportunities in the industry as well as outside the industry. I don't know, my life has revolved around it so much, and good things have happened. Don't worry. I've met some knob ends too, but very few and far between.
Yeah, and in some ways, I want to say one of the things about the UK is it's not that big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can't really cause trouble on Facebook.
Yeah.
In the UK, because nowhere is not far enough. You're not going to drive 3 hours to go to the other side of the country.
Yes.
And race with them, not to knock them out, but just to meet them up, turn up and beat them.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I can never turn up and beat anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I can just turn up and just, make fun of them. Tell some jokes. I don't like the word banter, but that kind of stuff, as we do as good northern people,
yes.
As I always say, is only worry when I'm being nice.
Yes.
because I'm again, I race with a great group of lads. We travel around. I race with my father-in-law.
Really?
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why some people go, oh, he's always away, because half the time I'm away, the guy who's driving me, because he never lets me drive, and his name is Tommy, massive RC fan. Okay, I go away for these weekends with my father-in-law. What's my wife going to say
Yeah.
When I'm away with her dad.
Nothing at all. She's like,
he causes most of the trouble.
I could imagine. I would love one thing. I love the UK. Hopefully, I'll get back over there. If I wasn't living here in the Dominican Republic, I'm pretty sure I'd be living in the UK. Because I just like it. I mean, yes, the weather's crap and whatnot, but I like the atmosphere over there. I love football. I love the way the UK is. It's a beautiful country, and there's lots of racing over there. And I definitely think it's definitely where I would live. And like you said, just going to these race meets with your friends, just spending time, the banter, you know, all that's all part of it, man. Beating your friends on the track. Yeah, that's all part of it. Bragging rights for this week. Yeah, that's what we miss a lot in RC.
And because we're generally all quite well run, no one can really argue or fall out. All RC in the UK is run quite well. You know, the thing that looks after all of us, whether you're on road 1/8, off road 12, anything along those lines, the big organisation does a good job, and everyone joins, and it gives you insurance and all those things.
Yeah, and
so that then filters that our section 110 off road is like the best section, the best run. So again, that just filters down to the clubs.
Yeah, I did notice that when I went to race, I was allowed 3 races, and I had to get a BRCA membership.
Yes. And
I thought that was super organized because, you know, there's no real raw membership required anywhere. And it does give you insurance, and they check it and make sure you have it. And I believe you even get a discount if you have a BRCA membership. So it is definitely, well, they are I'm a bit like wondering why they don't allow the headsets in nitro racing.
Yeah, okay. I think one of the things is, and that goes with all the sections, they are committee run, and the meeting and these rules were written 30 years ago. Okay, so a lot of the meetings you have to physically be there, and I know the UK isn't big, but it still could be, as you know, with traffic, it still could be. You know, I could drive from Liverpool to Birmingham, and it could take you 4 hours, and it's only 100 miles.
Yes.
You know, with the motorway, that kind of thing. So if you're not physically at the meeting, then you can't vote for a rule change. So I think on the 1/8 headphone things, which seems like a sensible thing to me. I don't run 1/8, but I think they're quite cool. So they just didn't get as many people to go to the meeting as the people who didn't want them. And that's the way it is. And we always say we can't argue, because that's the rule. If it really means, if you want a rule change, all you need to do is get 10 of your mates to go.
Yeah, I would say, go to the meeting and vote.
But it's not so easy because time, and you know, we'd all rather it's for us it's held on a Sunday.
Yes, of course.
And you know, those things. And again, that's probably why the system and everything runs so well, because we can't come up with any real crazy ideas, because that's the way it works.
Now I have a question. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, imagine if I ran it. You know, I don't think you could run an organisation through Facebook.
Yeah, it'd be difficult, but maybe they need to catch up a little bit with the times. I think you still can mail in. Like, I had to mail in, I think. Or did I? I can't remember. No, I just paid online for my membership. And this was back in 2014.
Yeah, it's all online now. We can do all those things. They really have done well over the last few years to be movers thing. But on rules, they're run by the sections, you know, and that's the kind of thing. And I don't want to keep going on. The 110 section's so well run, we don't go to the meeting.
Good.
Because if it's a sensible rule, and they go, oh, that will improve it, the chairman and the board will probably go, they'll have to have a vote, but they'll go, that sounds like a sensible rule. Why don't we try that?
Yeah, and obviously you won't use the headsets in 10 scale because you don't really have pitmen, and you know you can hear what's going on. Nitro is just so loud. Yeah,
you know, that's one of the great things about 110. Well, once or twice we've done a 110th meeting on a 1/8 track, and then we've realised that they don't have any sound or noises. We get updates through the race and all of these things, and race orders and commentary, and we hear all of these things because we haven't got these noisy things going around.
I have a question for you, because I think you have your ear to the ground and your eyes open about RC worldwide. What is something you would like to see change in the industry?
Well, I think there actually are some changes coming about. We all love the idea of the RCGP, as far as I'm aware, in the UK. Even us 110th boys.
Yes.
You know, we're very familiar with RC Racing TV.
They do a great job.
An amazing job.
The best in the business, in my opinion. But you know,
they really put an effort in. You know, we had a recent DXR event, and the coverage was 12 hours a day. Nick's constantly on. Different people are coming on it. They interact with the chat. That's brilliant. But I want to say is that's great, but that's for me as a racer. That's no good to get new people into the sport. And a lot of people say, "Oh, what we need is loads of kids." And I always go, "Yeah,
we need the parents with them too.
We need we need the parents." I always think what we should do is not, tag guys who used to do this, even for Nitro, because it's probably better now than it was when they did it. Cars are better, engines are better, motors are better. So they probably just remember the bad old days. So trying to get the guys who used to do it back in is great, and just showing it to people who have never seen it. We're in a park, and people have said, as they've walked past for the last 5 years, they've always wondered what this track was because they just never came on a Sunday.
Yes. I think just people just don't know what it is, man. I say it over and over, and we need to better educate people on what we're doing. And everybody can do it. That's the thing about it. Yes, it costs money, but this is still a relatively cheap hobby / motorsport compared to other motorsports.
Yeah. We all know, guys. Well, in the UK, it's probably karting or classic motorsport. There's a couple of guys who've got vintage rally cars or something along those lines. So, yeah, compared to that, it's a drop in the ocean. RC is relatively, there's not a lot of ongoing costs, certainly not in the UK. We keep our costs low. There's many different brands to try. We get a lot of help from the teams in the UK. Facebook has been brilliant for RC, I think.
Yes.
The ability to, a good... I always remember, Lee Martin's pass on Martin Walanka in the EOS.
That was awesome.
Absolutely. It's got Scotty Ernst's commentary on it. It's just a great clip. It's probably seen by 3 million. We just need more of that. So I've seen a lot of Matt McCallum's stuff, and the videos and things he does with control and, those things. And that's the bit we need to sort of package up. And I listen to your podcast clearly, and that stuff about RCGP is just being able to package something up and show it to other people.
Yeah, and listen to your podcast as well. Let's not forget about your great podcast that you have.
Yeah, we're really lucky in the UK. And I'm going to thank your good friend Jeff Keeton and Bobby Moore, because if it wasn't for Jeff Keeton and Bobby Moore doing the Loopers Live, then I wouldn't be doing this and there would be no podcasts in the UK.
Yes.
But because me and my friend Matthew listened to the Loopers Live, then we started our podcast. Then I had to step back from that one, and Matt carried on as going to, new name with Russ Lee here, and then I do mine, and we've got another one called the 300.
I saw that the other day. I haven't listened to one of it yet. One of them, though.
Yeah, and they're all different. They're all as different as they could be if they're RC podcasts. Really. And I've just spoken to someone who might be starting a 1/8 one.
I think I know who you're talking about.
There we go. Let's not put any pressure on him to name him, but there might be one of those. And just say, just give it a go, because there's nothing. We're really lucky.
Yeah.
We can chat, and I can chat with my good friend Joseph Cockhill, who puts up with me every week, chatting to people who we know or don't know in our industry and our favourite hobby. And that's brilliant, and people listen to that. And if I was at a race meeting this weekend, and people would come up and go, "Really enjoyed the podcast."
Yeah, isn't that rewarding? That's a rewarding feeling.
Mate, it's amazing. And we don't do, the Extra Lap RC podcast with Joseph Cockhill and Aidan Burke. We're quite janky. We just make it as easy as possible, and we get out as quick as possible.
Yeah, I mean, when I came on, I kind of felt bad because, like, that day, my wife was on me, her sister was like, we need to go somewhere.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, well, I got to do this podcast, like, at 5. She's like, no, we need to leave. So we're at the beach, and like my buddy,
yeah, we were. It was great.
My buddy Salty Joe gives me crap for that every day. He's like, "How could Dirk? Could you go to the beach and do a podcast with those guys?" I was like, "Man, my wife was like pissed off. Like, what was I supposed to do?" So,
did you say the other fellow was sat in a car park?
Which one?
That's
that's
what I do.
Yeah,
I sit in a car park. No, mate, I love it. So we make it as easy as possible so we can just do it. If we made it any better, more polished, it would take time. Yours clearly, you spend time on the No Name RC podcast, on the RCGP podcast, making sure it's edited and it looks great and it's got intros, and that's why it's as successful as it is. And we just do our bit, and we just speak to our friends, and we're really lucky in this scale. What do we call it now?
Scale Motorsports. Nick Damon.
Scale, yeah. Scale Motorsport. We're really lucky that the guys that we look up to, the guys who are really quick, a lot of them have got a bit of time to chat to us.
Yeah. I think the podcasts offer a different view of them that maybe something on the internet or Facebook or something written can't give them. You can hear the passion in their voice, and you can understand why they done that. And I think that's why podcasts are important. And I think all drivers should get on them and talk about it. Because another aspect of them.
Yeah, I think we've all come across the same thing. There's people who sometimes you ask somebody, go, "Why do you want me on?" There's a lot of people, and they maybe don't feel so confident. Certainly on mine, because we're a little UK thing. So we speak to a lot of the UK guys, but others, any of the pros, the stars I've really approached have all been great. Yeah. And they're the ones who turn up on time and let you know, and all of these things, and it's just so easy, and they do enjoy it.
Yeah.
We had the UK legend, world champion Neil Cragg on, and you can see he just really enjoys when he comes on our podcast or the other podcast that's in the UK, State of RC. He's just having a chat with his friends.
I think that's important.
He knows us.
Yeah, when you free up and they start to like, for instance, the Mayfield podcast that I done with him. At first he was a little cold, I would say, in the beginning, and then he started to get into it. And you could hear it in his voice. And I think a lot of people said that's probably one of the best Mayfield interviews they've ever heard, because he actually, got to say, like, this is why I did this, and I was upset. And I think that's what means a lot. Like, that's what I want people to get, is that side of the driver, like the human side, why they did this, what they think about this. And, that's what I like about it. I think once you make them comfortable, they open up.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't realise that we're just interested. They are like football stars to us.
They are.
And I've said that to many of them, and they just don't get it. A lot of certainly the UK guys are just, well, this is just my job.
I agree. And Neil Craig is like, Neil Craig doesn't race, really races 8 scale, right? And goes and puts it in the main at DXR. Against some fast young guys, and that's impressive.
Craggy has a full-time job.
Yep.
As well as being an RC pro. And he still just walks it into the A main at the DXR.
All right. Well, one more question for you, Aiden. Who's your favorite driver or race?
My favorite driver is Lee Martin. I literally love Lee Martin. As I started 110,
he's awesome.
When Lee, he's the nicest guy in the world. Met and spoke to him loads of times, not enough. I am literally like his biggest fan.
Good.
He's such a nice guy. Got a lot of time for everyone. He's really quick. He's just nice, and I've always loved Lee, and so I think as I started, that's when Lee started to get good. So
good
stuff.
Take a lot of
credit for that.
Good stuff. Well, before we go, do you want to give any shout out? Actually, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to do the 10 question, 10-second segment. You got to do it. So give me 1 second.
Now we go into the Fast Trace 10 questions in 10 seconds segment. Fast Trace is a world champion option parts brand made in Italy. Fast Trace drivers include Davide Ongaro and Riccardo Berton, and they run the innovative performance-enhancing parts that Fast Trace makes for most 1/8 buggies, including the world-famous honeycomb shock bladders and caps. Go to fasttraceshop.com and type in Lefty 2019 to get 10% off your purchase now.
So, hey, Aiden, are you ready for the FastRaceShop.com 10 questions, 10-second segment?
Yes, I am, Keeton. Away you go.
All right. Number one, I know you're like me. You like the beer. So, my first question is to you: lager, cider, or ale?
I'd have to give you the right answer. It'd have to be ale, but it's very easy to say. I drink Guinness.
Guinness is a good drink. I can only drink one or two of them because they kind of fill me up, but it's a good drink.
Just takes practice.
I'm sure. Number two, lose 1-0. You're an Everton fan, and people don't know Everton and Liverpool are like mortal enemies to the death. They hate each other with the passion of a thousand burning suns.
Yeah, but Everton is the greatest football team there's ever been, and if anyone's not really a football fan, they should just support Everton.
You heard
the easiest thing to do.
And I'm a City fan, and that's from Manchester, and we hate Manchester United with a passion. So here's my question to you: would you rather lose 1-0 to Liverpool or 5-0 to City?
Oh, 5-0 to City.
See, that's how much they hate Liverpool. I agree, because it's like us losing to United, which we didn't do this year. So I'm happy about that. And you guys beat them the other day. Okay, number three. I know you're a 10 scale guy. Turf, carpet, or dirt? One of them's got to go.
Got to go?
Mm-hmm.
Dirt.
Okay.
Turf and carpet are much better.
Okay. Number four. What is the better race? The EOS, Euros, or the Worlds?
Or the world, because it's the pinnacle.
Okay.
No matter where the world is in the world, we're always up at like 3 o'clock in the morning watching those.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I enjoy the Worlds. I watched all of Australia last year, and was up to 5 in the morning. Okay, number 5. If you wasn't racing RC cars, what would you be racing?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. RC racing, 1/10 off-road, is the only kind of motorsport I like. I don't like F1. I don't like rally cars. I don't watch anything else. I'm not even a big car fan.
That's incredible. Like, most RC guys are into full-scale RC. Full-scale racing at some point. But
I'm the absolute outcast of the entire thing. I can talk about football. No one's interested. But anything about motorsport, no idea.
Okay. Number 6. Fish and chips or Sunday roast?
I'm a good Scouser, which is someone from Liverpool, so I'd always say fish and chips.
Really? Okay.
Anything with chips.
I really enjoy the roast, though. I'm not a big fan of fish and chips while I was there. Maybe because I'm used to like fish from, fresh from the ocean and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. This is actually goes into your racing question, but will you ever try Nitro 8 scale racing? Number 7, that was, sorry.
Maybe, but I struggle with 1/10 maintenance. Mm-hmm. I'm not the greatest. I'm very lucky. People look after me and will help me through the day, and it's great to get other people involved. But if someone sort of pitted for me constantly, maybe I'd give it a go. It looks like great fun, but I'd probably do e-buggy. As you would say, it pays the bills.
It does. It most definitely does. Okay, number 8. Is that number 8? See, I've lost count. Number 7. The best track you've ever been on so far?
I really enjoyed the track at the first EOS I ever went to, which is in Poland.
Okay. What was so special about that?
It was the first EOS event I'd been to, probably. It was, you'd love this, Keenan, it was in a car show. Mm-hmm. So while the car show was going on, we were, the best drivers in Europe and the world were there running events. It was such a big track. It was the biggest carpet track I'd ever seen at that point. It just had loads of great features that I wasn't used to. I'm just a club guy. I just race at Southport. I'm lucky every so often I can travel away, but no, definitely Poland, first EOS for me.
Awesome. Okay, I don't know if you do, but if you had to choose between 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, which one would you choose?
Okay, it would definitely be 2-wheel drive.
Why so?
It's very popular where I race at Southport. 2-wheel drive modified is definitely the class to be. We don't have actually a lot of 4-wheel drives, so 2-wheel drive. Also for me, it's a lot easier to look after a 2-wheel drive electric buggy.
Okay. Number 9, cricket or rugby?
I'd probably say rugby. I played a bit. I was awful.
Really?
At school.
I love cricket.
I've probably watched more rugby than I've watched cricket.
I love cricket. I used to play rugby back in school when I was I liked playing it. I don't like watching it. I love cricket. Can't play it. Love watching it. So, good stuff. Now, number 10. I know you've tried a lot of different chassis, and this is probably going to put you on the spot, but your favorite 10 scale chassis so far?
It'd have to be the first one I drove, which would be an RC10 B4.
Wow. That's
okay. That was the first one I drove. When I got that, everybody had one of them. It was a great car. They didn't change it probably for 10 years. It worked everywhere. I was spoiled.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's without a shadow of a doubt, that's the best car.
Good stuff. Well, that ends the thefastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment. And this pretty much ends our chat with Aiden. I want to thank you, Aiden, for coming on. I know it's late there in the UK. You guys want to check out Aiden's podcast. Aiden and Rob is his name, right?
Joseph.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. I don't know why. You know what? It's the last name that's got me messed up because it's another guy with the same last name. But Joseph and Aiden's podcast, The Extra Lap, please go to iTunes and check it out. You guys have a Facebook page. It's not that active, but you can go.
No, we don't. We're not trying to be a news site.
Okay.
We're not trying to share that. This is our podcast. We do. I do enough on my own Facebook. Yeah. You don't want me doing anything else.
Well, go check out Aiden. You can get all when the new podcasts drop. You can get them from there. They're really good. They're short. They're not 4 or 5 hours like ours, but
no.
They do a great job. They talk to the local guys in the UK about 10 scale. They have had some pretty good guests on there as well from outside of the UK. Aiden, thank you for coming on once again. I appreciate it, and keep doing what you do in RC, man. I follow you. I watch it, and you have fun, man, and keep on doing it.
Oh well, I'm really lucky. And I am really well looked after by the team. I'm really lucky. I've got a shop drive. TQ Models look after me. They look after a club in the Northeast and look after me. I drive a Kyosho at the moment. The Kyosho UK guys. We've got Mick Craddock. We've got Carl Marsden. They help us everywhere we go. We've got a great team. We've got a great group of people who are just trying to race their toy cars a bit faster. And that's the kind of thing that I like. Is it's fun, let's laugh, but it always gets to the point of, come on, let's spend some time, let's think about. I don't get involved in those conversations. I just wait till the quick guys sort that out.
Yes. And
then I just do what they do.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you once again, and you have a good evening. And we'll be talking. We got Silver State and RCGP coming up. I'll be actively watching both. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'll figure it out somehow. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time since I've been to Vegas, so should be good.
Right. I'm sure you'll have a lovely, quiet, and relaxing weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure. But thank you, Aiden, man. And if you go racing this weekend, enjoy it.
I will do. Thanks very much, Keenan.
Thank you. Now we go into the JQ Racing Rant. Now, I'm going to put this disclaimer every week before the JQ Racing Rant. The JQ Racing Rant is sponsored by JQ Racing. We do what we want, so should you. So sometimes the language gets a little foul. We rant about stuff, but we try to offer solutions. But I understand that some children listen to this podcast. So if you if your children and you're listening to this podcast and you don't want them to hear the rant, that's fully understandable. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. if your podcast listening ends now. If not, enjoy the rant. Let us know who wins. And thank you for all the support. It's overwhelming, the support that we're getting for the podcast. And keep on listening and keep on liking and sharing. And just, without you guys, we cannot do it. So your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you all. And remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Welcome everybody to the JQ Racing Rant. This is the part of the podcast where you have to have your big boy pants on. So pull up your socks, put your snowflake-ish attitude away, and get ready for some big boy talk. What's going on, Joseph? How are you?
What's going on? Just learning to tune here.
Tune. See, you have to start it off being sarcastic right away. I tell you, we don't have Jeff this weekend. Jeff's busy. He's busy working. He's, I believe he's moving house and stuff like that. So he isn't able to join us. I'm actually rushing to do this because I'm flying in about 10 hours to Silver State. Joseph it's late there in the Philippines. It's 10 o'clock in the Philippines. RCGP preparations in full swing. Yeah, busy.
The house at 7:30 tomorrow, I think. Pick up control, go to the track, do some early morning filming. So, yeah, it's busy.
Yes, it is busy. Busy. I'm going to be busy. I think I fly out at 2:50 a.m. And, I get in Vegas 11:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Hopefully somebody will pick me up from the airport. And then, I don't know how I'm going to make this trip on Vegas because it's definitely unicorn budget. So,
yeah. And that's how we get into the rant, which I want to be. The difficulty of working together.
Yes. As you guys know, in this podcast, we revealed our new sponsor for our Grassroots Racer Spotlight, which is Techno RC, which probably has come to a shock to everybody. I mean, it was even a shock to me when I first got approached by Matt Walter to do it. But he said something resonated in one of my podcasts, one of the podcasts we did where I said we should all work together. And he says he thinks this is a great stepping stone to working together. And this is my rant. I'm also in accordance with Joseph on this, is that do we as an industry really want to work together, or do we just want to keep pillaging each other's drivers and scrambling after, just like, because what we're doing right now is not sustainable. We need to come together, work together. And you know what, Joseph? And I'm going to be honest with you. You are very polarizing as well. It's hard to work with you. You know that as a fact. So some sort of compromise has to happen on your part as well. Just using you as an example for things to happen. But I think in general that we as manufacturers need to come together to work together to make RC better. And that's not just manufacturers. We're talking about social media outlets, and all this stuff. So that's probably one of my pet peeves for this rant is the lack of coverage for RCGP by the other social media networks, and that's their job to report news that's going on within the industry. So
okay. I mean, this is such a big subject, and there's so much going on that I don't even know really where to start and how to get into this. But so I think there's a saying, so something about forests and trees. How does that one go?
You can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, you can't see the forest for the trees. I think that saying works here. And that's because I'm an annoying tree that people hate on. But if they could see past that, then there's a forest, right? And that forest is something, good, something good that could happen here in RC. Like a vision, something that's different, new and exciting and different. And luckily, enough people saw the potential to where they joined in, and we made it happen. Everyone together, working together, got to the point where we have a first race in a new series instead of just ideas and thoughts and complaints and people saying, we should do this, we should do that. It's easy to have ideas. It's much harder to have something in reality. And we've had a lot of ideas in the past. We've had a lot of sort of plans in the past, but it's never really reached the stage of actually happening. So going through this process now has been really like a learning experience for me, because I've never helped, even just helped to organize a race. Never mind trying to come up with a concept for a series and contact sponsors and manufacturers and teams and try to get everyone on the same page. So it's been a huge learning experience for me to be able to do that, especially also with the added kind of baggage of knowing that some of these people really don't like me and don't want to work with me. So the focus has always been on the thing, like, and not like who I am and what I'm doing. It's always been on the thing, always been on the idea and what we're trying to achieve.
Yes, exactly.
So now that brings me to this, like the difficulty of working together. And I don't really have a straight answer for this. And here's why. In the past, this hasn't worked, right? And it hasn't worked even with people who are well-liked trying to do it. This still hasn't worked. Well, yes, we have a first race, but it's not said that it's going to work. But we got this far with me kind of pulling the strings and getting everyone together, and me being someone that people don't like. And some people saying, well, maybe someone else should do it because people don't like you, JQ. Like, people tell me that. Well, I'm like, who? There is no one else. So it's not as easy as saying that you just need someone that everyone likes and then people will work together. Or as easy as saying, because people don't like me, then they're not going to join, they're not going to work together. It's hard. It's more complicated than that. You could have someone that everyone likes try and do this, and still it will be hard for companies to come and work together for a common goal that will, like a rising tide lifts all ships.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that if it gets done, if everyone chips in, then it will benefit everyone. Like crowdfunding, if everyone just gave $10, we'd have enough to do something big. The difficulty is to get everyone to agree to do that. And I don't think it really has to do with who is trying to make that happen. I really don't, because we've seen it in the past. So it's not the personality thing, like who the person is just a kind of suitable excuse for some people not to join, for example. They would find some other reason if it was someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about the philosophy or the way of thinking of the person who makes the decisions at all these various companies. And I promise I had a point to this.
Yes, can we get to it? Because you're rambling.
I think I just forgot the point.
I think
so. In this situation, like trying to do this thing, luckily we got enough people involved: Control, RC Racing TV, HB, S-Works, Infinity,
Beach RC.
Like, they were on board early enough that we saw okay, this is possible. And then right at the end, we managed to get Scumpy and Beach RC, and okay, we have a series.
Mm-hmm.
But then the thing that kind of bugs me a bit is that the people who should sort of, I think, who should know better, who kind of know that we need to change some things, and they aren't the ones who are making teams. Like the RC media, like news websites, the people with a voice in RC, they have not got behind it, really. Circus RC is the only news website that I can think of right now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They're the only one that I've seen.
Actually sort of actively have posted about RCGP, and he's going to be at RCGP. And the other sites have been kind of radio silence.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I'm a bit disappointed in that. Also, some big players in the industry who have, you know, big online stores and other sort of universally positive brands and companies in RC who would benefit the series, and also the series would benefit them. And also people who, you know, have attempted to do things like this in the past. So I know that they know what the benefits can be, and I know that they think that this is the right direction to go in. Yet they don't support this. They haven't come on board. That part kind of confuses me a bit. You know, because on one hand, they're like, hey, we all need to work together. Let's do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when someone else comes along and has kind of similar people on board, like working together, like, let's do this thing, there doesn't seem to be a way to kind of combine forces and then have a bigger group working together. So I don't get it. I don't know what the next step is from here.
I think it has to happen, and that's what's going to happen this weekend. I'm disappointed in the coverage from the media, because this is new. Like, that's your job, is to cover news, what's going on in RC. This is part of something big happening in RC, just like any other. It's just like any other race you cover, whatnot. Like, this has been going on for over a year. We've been putting out information. It's finally happening, but it's kind of a look at the bigger problem in RC is that we all, like you said, we all say we need to work together, but
then we don't.
We don't.
When it comes to it, we don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can say it, but then when there's a situation where you actually should work together, like, hey, let's do this for the greater good, then you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're part of the problem. Like, that's why things don't change.
Yeah. I think, if anything, what I want from this rant is for all of us to work together. Yes, it's difficult working with everybody. Look, it's difficult working with you. We know that. We know that. You need to show some more compromise as well. But it doesn't, the end factor is that we're all working towards the same goal. We can't all be working in different directions to get the same goal, because we'll go nowhere. We all have to accumulate and work towards one goal. And that's growing our hobby, growing our sport, getting new people in, and that way everybody benefits. So that includes everybody. That includes even the guys at the track who may run a certain car. Like, you know, you may be the local fast guy. Help, like, and a lot of people do this, because these are the guys that grow our hobby as well, as the local fast guys at the track who help out everybody and teach them things and stuff like that. Well, we need to do that as manufacturers as well, as people in the industry that have influence, that can make things change, that can change what we are. We can't keep saying we need to do this, or we need to go back, or we need to do that. We need change in RC, but nobody actually wants to change. And I say this over and over. And like, despite what people say, despite what the lack of coverage from the RC media, despite all of this, RCGP is still happening. You know, we have two great races. Sorry, can I just finish my rant? We have two great races going on this week, and I think they're both good. Like, I think the Silver State race, it was in a casino. It's great. We'll get some traffic through it. Yes, obviously, people will come in and see it. I'll be there. I'll do my best to talk to anybody that's new and tell them about our sport, because I'm proud of what we do. RCGP is taking it on a different level. It's going to be, it's a series. It's going to be broadcast. It's gonna hopefully get new people involved. That benefits everybody. So, but hopefully, what I hope is that this first round goes off really smooth. People see it's great racing, it's a great production, and then these manufacturers or these people that didn't want to get involved because they and I admit some people are scared. They don't know what's going to happen. So I get that, but sometimes you just got to take a chance, man. Sometimes you got to take a chance. It doesn't matter who came up with this idea. It matters that it's happening.
Yeah. So I kind of gathered my thoughts. And maybe I can conclude with this. So, Techno, they sponsored the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they did that even though they know that I'm involved. I'm often on the podcast. And, you know, I sort of forced you, how can I say, to do this. Because it's true. I had to convince you to do this podcast. So I'm involved. We all know Daniel from Techno. He doesn't like me. Yet they sponsor the podcast. Why? Because the podcast is done by you. I got you to do it. I'm on it. But they can benefit from sponsoring and supporting the podcast. The podcast is well liked and listened to by people, and it can benefit them. Mm-hmm. So even though he may have personal disagreements with me, he doesn't like me, whatever, he can sponsor the podcast and still benefit, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great example.
I can let that happen, and it doesn't bother me. It's business, right? Why not?
Yeah.
More of that needs to happen. You have to look at the bigger picture. Hey, this is a good podcast. Maybe we should support this. They're doing good things in RC. Techno want to support the podcast. Well, Techno's a good company in RC. They have a good grassroots following. Let's figure out a segment and make it work.
Yes.
So two different companies, regardless of personal opinions or feelings, can still come together, work together for something that's positive.
Yes. And I think...
And this is a good example of that.
I agree with you. And I'm happy that they did come on board. And I think the Grassroots Racer Spotlight is going to be very popular. I've had numerous people contact me. I'm going to be even more busy. And this is my way of giving back to our listeners. And I thank Techno RC for coming on board. And it also, like it shows that two competitors that may not necessarily like each other too much can still come together for the better of the industry in a small way. It starts with small steps.
Yeah. And another thing, working together is, we're getting a phone call here. Maybe Max arrived home.
Yeah.
Working together is hard, but you kind of have to accept that too. So just doing this race here in the Philippines, I've kind of been in two worlds. So one is the track committee. Mm-hmm. So all these people who put on the Philippine Masters before, okay? They've controlled everything to do with the track and layout and schedules and all this stuff, right? So I've had to work with them with coming up with a plan for how we want to execute the RCGP. Then also the people who actually do the work at the track, like building the track and hanging the banners and building the fences and all that stuff, I've had to work with them too. So two different groups of people, right?
Yes.
Now, me as a personality, me as a person, me as, you know, trying to get this done, I pretty much pissed off the track committee.
Yeah, because you're difficult to work with, but you have to learn compromise as well.
Yes, but if you are trying to do an RCGP, which you are trying to do to change RC, you can't compromise too much because then it's no change. Mm-hmm. You have to have certain things a certain way or nothing will change, right?
Yes.
So, yes, we compromised on a lot, but not too much. There's some things that we have to do a certain way. Otherwise, you know, it's just going to be another race. So where to draw that line? Of course, that's the hard part. That's where it's like, well, is this one thing really that important or isn't it? Those are tough situations to deal with. But so, yeah, needless to say, it was a struggle.
It is. It always will be a struggle.
On the other hand, the other people who actually did the work, you know, I got the greatest feedback from them. It's like, I mean, on the one hand, committee, JQ is such an asshole. Like, this sucks. Then the track workers are like, it's been great. Like, the one guy even saying, like, you've been a great boss, like, great leader. So you get positive feedback on one side and negative on the other. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of a situation where everyone can do better, everyone can live, learn, and grow, but it's not like you're 100% wrong, everything is bad, or you're 100% right, everything is right. You know, it depends on the situation too. Everyone's like, no one's perfect.
Yes,
good at something, bad at something else, and you can learn and improve from there.
I agree. I agree. And working with you is difficult, but it's not impossible. So, with that said, because I'm not going to go on much longer with this rant, my advice, what I would like to see more in RC is everybody coming together to promote our hobby and make it better for everybody. Yes, we like the drama, we like the banter and stuff like that, but I think as a collective, we all need to come together. No matter what car you drive, no matter what company you represent, what language you speak, what color of your skin. I say this over and over. What political background you believe in and whatever, the common denominator is we all have RC, and that's what we love, and we all want to see it be better. So to everybody, work together to make things happen. If it's at your local club, it's at your local track, there's new guys that are coming in, man. A little bit of advice goes a long way. A little bit of help goes a long way. I tell you this all the time, Joseph. A little bit of attention goes a long way. So we're not going to rant any further. You have anything else to say before we sign off, Joseph?
Yeah, I just hope that this RCGP series and also this podcast, that this can be the beginning of a positive change in the industry. Mm-hmm. And it's already started, and I just hope that it keeps on going.
Good stuff. I agree. And to all of those who are going to be at Silver State, I'll see you guys there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be watching a lot of racing, going around having a few beers with whoever I meet. So if you guys want to come up and talk about RC, just come up and say what's up. I'll be there. I'll be pitting people, but I'm there to have fun. And Joseph, good luck at RCGP. I'll be following that. And remember, guys, you can follow RCGP. You can follow RCGP on the YouTube channel, the Facebook channel, and what was the other website they can go to?
RCGP is Facebook, YouTube, and then live.rc-gp.com.
Awesome. And remember, guys, thank you for all the support of the podcast. It's greatly appreciated. All of those that send me messages and whatnot. And I'm looking forward to talking to the guys on the new grassroots, Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight segment. We can't do this without you guys. Continue support our patrons. We put up an early podcast for you this week. I know we've been lacking on that. It's been hard coordinating these podcasts because one thing is true. A lot of work goes into this, and most of it's coordinating with people. So I appreciate all the support. Thank you, Joseph. Good luck at RCGP. And remember, everybody, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. And if you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense doing it. Lefty out.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/theQuayGrain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.